baseball itself. Tonight, two teams without fear go face-to-face. Game 1 is next. Tonight from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, it's Game 1 of the 103rd World Series between the National League champion Colorado Rockies and the American League champion Boston Red Sox. The 2007 October Classic features a team just about everyone expected to be here and one nobody guessed would make it. But the Red Sox and the Rockies will decide beginning tonight who will be the next world champion of baseball. As the best-of-7 series begins, it's Josh Beckett going for Boston. He takes on Colorado's Jeff Francis. Welcome to famous Fenway Park, everyone. I'm Dave O'Brien, along with my partner, former National League Cy Young Award winner Rick Sutcliffe. Great to have you with us. It's a cool night with a threat of showers. We may be battling the elements a little bit tonight. The Colorado Rockies have been battling and winning against everybody, Rick. For 38 days, they have not lost a game, winning 21 out of 22. Now, the Red Sox are a heavy favorite to win this World Series, but here Colorado is on this magic carpet ride into October. Well, off the Coke bottles there against the Indians, he had 500, 14 for 28 in the ALCS. Pedroia caught fire in those last 3 games. Ortiz has been Big Papi, and Manny has just been being Manny. Look at that combined on-base percentage of .487. That is off the charts. Rick, you talk about Ortiz and Ramirez being the faces of the Boston Red Sox. Todd Helton is certainly that guy for the upstart Colorado Rockies.
Baseball, particularly when you look at those numbers up the middle.
You have to go all the way back to August 23rd to see the last error by the Rookie of the Year, in all likelihood in the National League, Tulowitzki. That was 43 games ago, and Matsui has been as good as anybody around in starting the double play. They will be in support of tonight's left-handed starter in Game 1 for Colorado, Jeff Francis. One of his 17 victories this season came right here at Fenway Park. That was a series that really saw the Rockies dominate the Red Sox. They outscored them 20-5. Atkins had a big grand slam, and Francis was terrific in locking up the Red Sox bats over 7 innings.
Yeah, and he also gave Josh Beckett his first loss of the year in that ballgame. The 26-year-old left-hander doesn't throw as hard as Beckett, but he's every bit as confident. A career-high 17 wins. He'll mix in the curveball. He'll back.
See from Lowell High School. After our national anthem, look for a flyover by the Green Mountain Boys of the Vermont Air National Guard, 158th Fighter Wing. To perform our national anthem tonight, we welcome the most accomplished composer of our time, whose film scores have helped provide the soundtrack of our lives, while creating the score for the sequel to Raiders.
On the field at Fenway, Carl Yastrzemski with a 60-17 behind him.
Pitch. The last player to win the Triple Crown, and a hero who stands second to none in the glorious history of the Boston Red Sox. Welcome back, number 8, Carl Yastrzemski. How about a pitch?
Mike Andrews there, the second baseman of that team. The big hug as Yaz bounced it, but look at the smile on Clint Hurdle's face, and everybody who saw Carl Yastrzemski play, and even those who just know about his legend here in Boston, all smiles tonight at Fenway.
I think one of the best shots is right there. Look at that. Every one of those young Colorado Rockies out there on that top step, not wanting to miss the Hall of Famer.
Simply known here in New England as Yaz. Look at some of the Hall of Fame numbers all time in games played for the Red Sox. Hits, RBIs, and runs. They had another pretty good left-hand hitter here, if I remember, back in the day. Ted Williams, 1967 MVP, won the Triple Crown. He was a tremendous outfielder. He knew how to play that big wall in left field, and a 3-time batting champion. The great number 8, Carl Yastrzemski. So we are off and running from Fenway. Game 1 of the 2007 World Series. That's something that Carl Yastrzemski never got a chance to win. Coming your way in just a moment. Colorado Rockies. The starting lineup presented by MasterCard. Willie Taveras is in center field. A great bunter. Kaz Matsui has been reborn going to Colorado after really not having a very good time of it all in New York. Matt Holliday is in left field. He had 36 home runs. Todd Helton at first. Garrett Atkins, the third baseman. He drove in 111. Brad Hopp, 116 RBIs. We talked about Tulowitzki and just how talented he is.
Exactly, and you can see Atkins there. He hit a grand slam homer here back in June. That's what got him going in the regular season. You could see at 185, he could use some help here.
6 out of 10 is Atkins against Josh Beckett, who pitches tonight for the Boston Red Sox. 20-7 during the regular season and 3-0 during the postseason to this point. Let's meet the Red Sox backing him up on defense.
Jason Varitek, catcher, USA. Kevin Youkilis, first base, United States of America. I'm Dustin Pedroia, second base, United States. Mike Lowell, third base, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Julio Lugo, shortstop, Dominican Republic. Manny Ramirez, left field, Dominican Republic.
Toby Ellsbury, center field, USA.
J.D. Drew, right field, USA.
Pitching matchup tonight, Josh Beckett, a right-hander from Texas who throws about 98, against Jeff Francis, the left-hander from Canada who throws about 89. It's certainly power against finesse.
Well, I'm taking a look at him warm up right now, and I was just wondering if when he got up in Game 7 on Sunday, if it would have any effect on the way he warms up tonight. He looks to be terrific. He asked for the full 10 pitches from home plate umpire Ed Montague, and he looks to be throwing that 98 right off the bat.
You wonder what Josh Beckett may have learned, if anything, from the one appearance he had against the Rockies back in June when they knocked him around. So we are ready for the first pitch of Game 1 of a World Series with a Red Sox team that has been favored all season to reach this point, and a Colorado Rockies squad that at the beginning of September never figured to be playing on the 24th of October. A light rain, very, very light on a cool night here in Boston. And the first man in will be Willie Taveras, and they are ready to roar here at Fenway.
You know, and that could be a key factor right here off the bat, because Taveras is one of the best in baseball at laying down a bunt for a base hit. There's enough pressure with his speed, let alone with these conditions.
Taveras, a .320 hitter during the regular season, excellent speed, and the first pitch of the series is right through there for strike one. And we are underway. Flash bulbs everywhere.
This is that atmosphere that they've talked about.
55 degrees for Game 1. Fouled back by Taveras. And it's quickly 0-2. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Beckett.
You know, that's the one thing we've seen about him during the postseason. When he rears back and lets it go, it's almost like he's saying, you know what, I'm better than you are. I mean, there was no location there.
Fastball, curveball, changeup, he has them all going. What will Taveras see here? He got a fastball outside. Beckett, 27 years old, from Spring, Texas. He'll be starting in Game 5 as well if that's necessary. Matsui on deck, and then Holliday. On the corner for strike 3. Beckett blows away the first Colorado Rocky he sees in a World Series.
Here it is again. I mean, he all of a sudden got 2 strikes, and he said, you know what, now I will locate one, because the last thing Beckett wanted right there was to get Taveras on base.
Here's Matsui now. He had .288 during the season with 4 homers, 37 runs batted in. He belted a huge grand slam in Game 2 of the division series against the Phillies. Upstairs for ball 1. Let's check out our keys for tonight, Sutton.
Let's take a look here at Game 1 of the World Series. When you've got Beckett on the mound, for me, OB, it is a must win. I mentioned earlier that Francis beat him earlier in the year. Doing that then is different than doing it now.
So showing bunt, takes a ball. Lowell charging in from third.
In fact, over the course of this postseason and Beckett's 3 starts, now 4, he's walked 1 guy, OB, and he has 27 strikeouts. That's taken it to a whole nother level.
The 2-0. That's up and away for ball 3. So on the verge of walking Kaz Matsui on 4 straight pitches. Matsui, a teammate of Boston's Daisuke Matsuzaka for 5 years in Japan at Cebu. He's a multiple Gold Glove winner there. In for strike. Well, Daisuke was the ace of that staff. In 1999, Matsuzaka was Japan's Rookie of the Year. Matsui was an all-star, and he led the Pacific League in stolen bases. A huge reason for Cebu's success. Bases empty, 1 out, the 3-1 from the right-hander. Foul up into the stands, and the count 3-2.
You know, the thing I remember about Matsui was everybody was saying, all right, you've seen Hideki Matsui at the Yankees, you've seen Ichiro, but wait till you see this guy. Well, the guy we saw with the New York Mets is not the guy you see here.
At 2.5 disappointing seasons in New York. And he's turned into a very important figure for Colorado in this great run. The 3-2 pitch. Popped up, back toward the screen. Veritek taking off toward the box seats, but no room for him. Some of the fans decked out in rain gear. Several of them in makeshift raincoats.
You know, they've got the rain gear on, but I think they're so excited right now, they don't feel it.
Forecast for tonight is not all that promising.
For who? The Rockies or the Red Sox? Oh, you mean the weather?
The 3-2 pitch. Got him. He struck out another one. Back-to-back Ks for Beckett to start game 1.
That's that swagger that we talked about that he gets this time of the year. Nothing more than a fastball away, everything he's got on it, and then that look back at you like, what are you thinking? You had no chance to begin with. That's that confidence that this guy has.
So 2 down, and here comes Matt Holliday. One of the great emerging stars in the National League, and he takes one inside near the elbow.
All by design. You knew that was coming. Beckett just sending his greeting card to Matt Holliday. You got 2 outs and nobody on. I'm not saying it's a free shot, but it's an opportunity to move him. Something Cleveland never did.
1 ball, 1 strike. Holliday with 36 home runs during the regular season, 137 runs batted in. Strong MVP candidate. Certainly not a Johnny-come-lately. Last year, he hit 34 homers and drove in 114. Foul tipped. 1-2. And Josh Beckett, who just mowed down the Cleveland Indians in 2 brilliant starts in the ALCS to win the MVP, is 1 strike away from striking out the side in the first inning of the first game of the World Series. And if there was a lid on Fenway Park, if that happens, man, it would have come off.
And OB, he's done it with absolutely nothing but fastballs till this point.
Beckett trying to strike out the side. He does. Holliday punches out. Beckett strikes out Tavares, Matsui, and Holliday. To the home half of the first inning, the Red Sox coming up. Here's a look at their starting lineup presented by MasterCard. Dustin Pedroia and Kevin Youkilis just on fire at the tail end of the ALCS. Ortiz, Ramirez, and Lowell in the heart of that order, followed by Jason Varitek doing the catching. J.D. Drew in right, Julio Lugo at short. Jacoby Ellsbury, the rookie, starts in center.
Well, we know he had a good year. He hit .317 during the regular season, but he's better at home and better against left-handed pitching.
Let's meet the Rockies on defense behind Jeff Francis.
Venezuela. Todd Helton, first base, United States of America. Kazuo Matsui, second baseman, Japan.
Garrett Atkins, third base, United States.
Troy Tulowitzki, shortstop, United States of America. Matt Holliday, left field, USA. Willie Taveras, center field, Dominican Republic. Brad Hott, right field, United States.
The Rockies' Game 1 starter is the lefty Jeff Francis, and the first pitch is in there for a strike on Pedroia, the second baseman. 17 wins during the regular season for Francis.
Not a whole lot of strikeouts during the postseason, but he can be a strikeout guy, as Beckett was.
High fly ball, jack deep to left field, back it goes, it is high off the wall, and it's going to be ruled a home run. A home run to start it for Dustin Pedroia. That one is gone, and Boston has taken a 1-0 lead just like that. And it is bedlam inside Fenway Park. Pedroia, who had the huge home run in Game 7 of the ALCS, is at it again.
I'm trying to remember who it was that we highlighted on the lineups. People say, how can you highlight that little guy? Well, all you've got to do is think back to the World Series a year ago when the MVP for the Cardinals was David Eckstein.
And another red-hot Red Sox here, and Kevin Youkilis watching the flight of this one to the very top of the Green Monster, and just did get out to make it 1-0 Boston. Pedroia's last 2 at-bats in the playoffs, he's wound up with a total of 5 RBIs. Outside on Youkilis, who batted .500 during the ALCS, going 14 for 28. He hit 3 home runs, and he scored a league championship series record, the American League Championship, 10 runs. And he socks that one on a line to right center. That's going to drop down. It'll bounce up against the wall. Youkilis heading for second. He will reach with a double. And the Red Sox attacking Jeff Francis. 2 rockets off the lefty, the first 2 batters he faces.
Both teams were talking about the atmosphere here, and right now this offense is letting this atmosphere have as much fun as they possibly can. After pulling the home run by Pedroia, Youkilis looking out over the plate, figuring Francis will make an adjustment, and he just fed him a good pitch to hit.
Youkilis with a bullet the other way after Pedroia had pulled his home run. And here comes David Ortiz. His career on 6 or more days rest. Well, it seems to work the opposite direction for Francis.
He's a control type guy. He's got to stay down to take advantage of this outstanding infield defense. He's not able to do that yet.
Now David Ortiz showing bunt, and he does bunt, but fouls it away.
You know what, for a lot of teams that would be kind of a strange play, but not when you've got that man behind you, because he could very easily not only get in Youkilis but score himself. Big Papi all about being part of the team offense. Obi, we've seen that throughout the ALCS.
Ortiz looking to swing away here, but takes the pitch outside for a ball. Well, the way Beckett has been pitching all season, you can't attribute the Rockies' first inning and those 3 strikeouts to the 8-day layoff. But Francis having all of this time off in between starts, his rough start, maybe you can. Nobody out, a man in scoring position for Boston. Cut on and missed.
Well, as you can imagine, Francis with his height, 6'5", and his arm angle, he's going to be tough on a left-handed hitter. Big Papi, you know, he didn't make many adjustments at home plate, but he's adjusted here. He's moved up closer to home plate. He's spread out with his stance, and Obi just trying to use his hands to be able to pull that fastball.
Francis delivers a ground ball, chopped to first. Helton with it. He'll get to the bag in time. Down to third moves Youkilis. So a productive out for Ortiz as he advances the runner, and that's out number one.
He's going to get as many high fives in that dugout right now as if he would have hit a fly ball to right field or gotten a base hit. Look at that. He gave himself up right there to make the team better. Watch his hands here. Look at the very little stride right there. Watch how quick he is with his hands. He takes his body out of it just so he could play pepper, Obi, with that side of the infield and get the job done.
That'll bring the infield in now for Colorado with Manny Ramirez, the batter.
And what kind of a hitter is Manny to begin with, let alone his numbers as we see in the postseason. And now you bring the infield in, it's almost impossible to get him out.
And he has always been a lefty killer throughout his career. He sucks a base hit, and here comes the run. Ramirez tears into the single, and the Red Sox lead it 2-0.
Well, this is Big Papi, and also it's respect for Josh Beckett. It's the first inning. So what if they go up 2-0? Well, with the way Beckett dominated the top of the first, look at what they've done with their infield. Just take a look. If Tulowitzki, with his 6'5" body, if he'd have been back, Obi would have been right at him. It would have been an out. But because of what Big Papi did, and also Beckett, you're not going to get Manny Ramirez out like that.
So France has thrown 11 pitches. It's gone home run, double, single. Also the productive out by Ortiz. Lowell takes outside for ball one. The Red Sox ahead 2-0. And how important is it for each of these teams to score first? Both of them are undefeated in the postseason when scoring the first run. The Red Sox are 6-0. Colorado is 5-0. Wow. Just missing on Lowell, who has driven in 11 runs so far in 10 postseason games. The Red Sox right in the same hitting groove that they left the Cleveland Indians in.
Well, Obi, that was only 3 days ago. You know, you take a day off to get rid of the champagne effect from the night before. You come out and work out, and you go get them today. When you think about the Rockies, they have not played. They've not seen really big league pitching with any intensity for 8 days, let alone taking a look at Beckett.
Leo pitches in there for a strike on Lowell. Jason Varitek on deck.
Now it's borderline, but I'm telling you what, with Eddie Montague behind the plate, he's going to be right at least 99% of the time tonight for both sides.
Rain falling a little heavier now in Boston. High fly ball lofted into right. There's Hop coming in. Over comes Tavares. And the center fielder's got it. 2 down. And that'll bring up Varitek as Francis tries to limit the damage here in the first inning. The Red Sox ahead 2-0. This could be a major factor tonight. As it is right now, it's not hard enough to stop the game to suspend play. But the forecast is not terribly good.
You know, for me, this is kind of like a chess game. You know, we'll give up, you know, our queen, you give up your queen, king, king, what have you. If this game were to get delayed, and maybe even called off, Colorado would gladly give up Francis to make the Boston Red Sox lose Beckett. Colorado's got a 5th starter. I mean, Morales is ready to go. Just recently taken out of the rotation because they've got Aaron Cook healthy again.
Varitek takes a strike. He warmed up finally this postseason in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, going 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles. He had been just 4 for 22. Trying to keep it going here for the Red Sox. Manny Ramirez, after his RBI single, on board at first. Fouled back by Veritek. Josh Beckett getting some run support. It's been the case all season long. When he pitches, the Red Sox score.
You know, I'm just thinking too. I've been in that position as starting pitcher, and when you look at home plate with 2 out and you see your catcher, immediately you tell yourself, well, if he makes an out, I'm going to take my time getting the mound because Veritek's who I want to throw to.
Fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Veritek.
You know, they'll send the backup catcher out there to get you, but it's not that same look, not that comfort zone that obviously Beckett enjoyed in the first inning.
J.D. Drew would hit next if the inning is still alive, but there are 2 down. Big start for the Red Sox. Dustin Pedroia with a home run to begin the night. Fouled off the catcher. Torrealba could not hang on, and they will do it again. You saw the Francis changeup there. That's a good curveball, good sharp curve.
Well, so does Beckett, but we still haven't seen either one of those. Take a look here. Francis has already been in enough trouble. Doesn't know if the runs he's given up already were too many with Beckett on the hill. He's pulling out all the stops right now to get out of it.
Well, the team with the home field advantage has won 16 of the last 20 World Series. And Boston has that hammer here in 2007. There's a base hit. Driven into left field. A single for Veritek. The 4th hit off of Francis in the first inning. J.D. Drew on the way up next.
Obi, we talked again about the key for Boston. It is a must-win for Beckett. Schilling on normal rest could be difficult tomorrow night. You take a look at the Rockies, they need to put the game in the bullpen's hands with either the game tied or having the lead. Obviously, that's exactly the opposite of what the Boston Red Sox are trying to do to the Rockies.
Colorado's bullpen came up huge in the first 2 rounds of the postseason. They did all the way through September as well.
Boy, they did, and they're deep and they're good, and they've got 2 closers. They've got lefties and righties to throw at you. They're a handful.
J.D. Drew now runners at first and second as he lets the first one go for ball 1. He's hit in 6 consecutive playoff games.
Man, he's a different guy right now. It's just a different look. Even on that first pitch breaking ball, just the way he took that.
The 1-0 to Drew. Swing, and it's pulled into right field. Down the line. Here comes Ramirez in to score. Slipping down Hop. Here comes Veritek. He's held up at third. Into second with an RBI double, J.D. Drew. And the Rockets just keep flying in game 1. In the first inning, Francis is going to be lucky to get out of this first frame alive.
You know, you think about in that LCS with CC Sabathia, the left-handed pitcher on the mound, it wasn't J.D. Drew got a hit because of that. And now the Red Sox keep that line of moving.
Boston ahead 3-0, and here comes the 8th man to swing in the first inning. Lugo takes a strike. Remember now, the Red Sox outscored Cleveland 30-5 in the last 3 games of the league championship, and now they quickly get 3 against Colorado in the first inning.
A lot of strikes, but he's not able to locate his fastball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lugo, trying to get in on the fun. Clint Hurdle's team getting shelled early. Lugo fouls that one back. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Julio Lugo.
See, now will be why he started him off with a changeup. Look at the location of this fastball. I mean, that is thigh high, and that's a pitch right there that when a guy is going good, you know, he squares it up. Obviously, Lugo is not, and really has not all year long.
Here's the 28th pitch of the first inning from Francis. Fought off by Lugo is going to make him work a little harder. Veritek at third. J.D. Drew at second. 5 hits for the Red Sox. That includes a home run and 2 doubles.
You know, I can't help but think, though, when Clint Hurdle brought the infield in, the line drive would have been the second out. Lowell would have been the third. It'd been over with.
Down into the dirt, stopped by Torrealba. Rockies did not trail by more than a run in the division series or the NLCS.
But they were only down a run when Clint Hurdle brought that infield in. You never know. I mean, it's a decision you make, but right now it wasn't the right decision.
Chopper to third. Down to get a nice play. Atkins, long throw, close, and he got him at first. A bang play. Lugo is out, but the Red Sox get 3 and have a 3-0 lead after 1. It started with Dustin Pedroia, one of the stars late in the league championship series win over Cleveland, just nudging it out. The Red Sox scored 3 times, and certainly a Rocky Mountain low for the Rockies. So look at the field dimensions here on a rainy night in Boston. 310 down that left field line. The deep drive is 390 to center. And actually goes out to 420. Very deep shot out into right center field in the triangle out near the bullpen. Down that left field line. Got to get it up over a 37 high foot wall, but could be a chip shot. That 420 is anything but, and right field for a right fielder, even a good one, presents all sorts of defensive problems. Todd Helton trying to get a whiff of Josh Beckett. He lets the first one go up and away, ball 1. Beckett striking out the side in the first inning as he got off to a brilliant start. Helton to be followed by Garrett Atkins and then Brad Hopp. All of them drove in at least 91 runs. Cut and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Todd Helton, the man who once backed up Peyton Manning at quarterback at the University of Tennessee, and was very close to getting traded to these Red Sox in the spring. That deal fell through, but it looked like it was about 24 hours away from being completed. Helton right now wishes it were after that curveball.
You know, I had an opportunity to watch Peyton Manning and Helton have some fun at the batting cage a couple of years ago in Denver, and Peyton was in there trying to hit, and Todd said, now do you see why he's stuck with football?
Down he goes. 4 consecutive strikeouts to begin game 1 for Beckett. Goodness.
Well, I mean, he had a lot of them during the regular season, 194. So I'm not taking anything away from him, but you got to understand something. These guys have not seen live pitching for 8 days. And OB, we saw a little bit of this last year in the World Series after the layoff for Detroit.
Well, it really did hurt the Tigers. In there for strike 1 on Garrett Atkins. But I mean, he's been this way all postseason. He's walked 1 man. He struck out 30.
Well, he hadn't struck out everybody like he's doing right now.
True enough. I mean, this is off the charts right now. Swinging a high fly ball. This one very deep. Heading for the Green Monster, and it is high off the wall. Atkins robs into second. He'll stop there with a double. And he has Beckett's number. He hit a grand slam off of Beckett back in June here. And Ricky is now 7 out of 11 off the Red Sox ace in his career.
Yeah, that grand slam was not the only hit that he got off of Josh Beckett. And Beckett just kind of looking at him out there right now like, what in the world is wrong with you? I got everybody else out. That's only the second curveball I've thrown tonight. How can you be sitting on that pitch? Well, he was all over it, and that ball was high off the Green Monster, barely staying in the yard.
Including the home run, which was worth 4 RBIs. So Atkins into scoring position here for Colorado with 1 out, and that brings up Brad Hopp, who hit .291 during the season, 29 homers, and he drove in 116. He takes a fastball outside.
What's amazing to look at the depth of this lineup. Colorado, to me, it's almost like that of an American League team. You're looking at a guy that had 116 RBIs, and he's hitting 6.
Hop with good power. Boy, he took a swing. A vicious hack. 1 ball, 1 strike. In that series in June here at Fenway Park, Hop went 3 for 12. One of his hits was a home run. The Rockies really had their way against Boston in that interleague series. In fact, the only man who tied them up at all was Tim Wakefield, as he went 8 terrific innings, but he's not pitching in this series.
I talked with Tim before the game about that too, OB, and he said he knew the very next day when he woke up that morning, he went to pull the covers off of him, and he had to let go. It hurt so much.
Atkins at second, 1 man out. Strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Beckett. He has struck out 5 of the first 6 Rockies. 2 gone in the second.
I don't know whose arm's going to be sore after this game, Josh Beckett's or that of home plate umpire Eddie Montague. I mean, that's the 5th time that Beckett has let it fly, and Eddie's got to let it fly too. Eddie may want to change his strike 3 call before this night's over with.
But you know, most of them are swinging strikeouts. Tulowitzki, who's had trouble making contact in the postseason, rips this one toward the Green Monster. That's going to be high up off the tin and carry him back to Ellsbury. In to score is Atkins, and into second with an RBI double, Tulowitzki, who drove in 99 runs during the season and cranked this one. And Colorado gets 1 back. It's either been a strikeout or a double for the Rockies tonight. Nothing in between.
You can see the power that this kid possesses. Probably the rookie of the year in the National League. He also, with 24 homers, OB, set a National League rookie record for shortstop. Boy, they got themselves a good one here.
So the 23-year-old out of Santa Clara, California, certainly a shortstop in the Cal Ripken mold. Rakes an RBI double, and that'll bring up the catcher, Yorvi Torrealba, who had a big series against the Red Sox back in June. He went 5 for 11, and he hit 2 home runs. Beckett not out of the second inning yet. He fires high, ball 1.
I know that Tulowitzki would appreciate you comparing him to Hall of Famer Cal Ripken, but he'd prefer you to compare him to Derek Jeter. There's that number 2, the captain for the New York Yankees. A guy that a lot of people idolized growing up, including Tulowitzki.
Well, he has the Rockies on the scoreboard here against Beckett, who struck out the first 4 batters he faced, but suddenly 2 of the last 3 have hit him hard. The 1-0 to Torrealba. Busted bat. 1 hop to Lugo. And the side is retired. But a much better second inning than the first inning for the Rockies. Tulowitzki's RBI double chases in Garrett Atkins. And the Rockies are on the scoreboard. 3-1 Boston in the bottom of the second. Umpiring crew tonight with the crew chief Eddie Montague, one of the best in the business behind the plate.
No question about that. His 32nd year at the big league level, his 21st postseason, and his 6th World Series. He's the crew chief along with Laz Diaz, Ted Barrett, Chuck Merriweather, Mike Everett, and Mike Riley. And already Mike Everett down that left field line had a difficult call that he got perfectly right on the ball hit by Pedroia,
which went for a home run. The Red Sox getting 3 quick ones, and Colorado has bounced back to get their first run of the night against Josh Beckett. So we'll see what Francis has in store for Boston. He saw 8 of their 9 hitters in the opening frame, and 5 of them got hits. Here's the youngster Jacoby Ellsbury, who's quickly become a fan favorite here in New England after hitting .353 over the course of 3 separate relatively short call-ups for Boston. His season started just north of here in Portland, Maine at AA in the snow. They got snow up in Maine when they started out the AA season. And now here on a cool night and a sometimes rainy night in October, he is in the World Series. Rick showing no signs of the jitters.
You know, he's also shown signs at the big league level of hitting left-handed pitching.
The 1-1 just off the corner. Good eye by Ellsbury. On deck, Dustin Pedroia, who launched that home run just over the top of the Green Monster in the first inning. Tried to hold up, could not. That's a swinging strike, evening the count at 2-2. Francis, the former physics major in college, smart enough to know he can't walk people. And he's become Colorado's top winner 3 years in a row. On the corner, got him looking. Francis picks up his first strikeout.
Got him guessing, too. He did not guess very right. He looked breaking ball on the pitch before. And here he's looking breaking ball again. He got a fastball up and in for strike 2, and he knew it. Right on the outside corner. Truly what was the first easy out for Jeff Francis tonight.
You wonder if after that tumultuous first inning and then Colorado digging in on Beckett in the second inning, if it's going to turn into a pitcher's duel. Remember, Francis has not pitched since October 11th, so maybe a little bit of time necessary to shake off the rust.
Find that outside corner.
Well, he did on Ellsbury. Chopper high toward Atkins. He fires on to get Pedroia. 2 quick outs in the second. Youkilis on the way up next.
You know, that's one thing. We were talking about this infield, only 30 errors all year long. Take a look here at Atkins, what he has done to improve himself. Watch how he catches the ball here going back. Now look at the crow hops that he takes in the direction he's going to make the throw. He made 13 errors this year, OB, but he improved so much because of the work that he spent on defense and how he's properly doing it.
A strike to Youkilis, who doubled and scored a run in the first inning for Boston. Over the last 10 years, the team that has won Game 1 has gone on to win the World Series 9 times. So this is the key for Terry Francona and for Clint Hurdle.
You know, the team that held the home field advantage has won 17 of the last 21 World Series. And of course, the reason Boston has the home field advantage, another thing Josh Beckett did for them, he picked up the win this year in the All-Star game that got it for the American League.
Yeah, Todd Helton has been ripping on the Rockies All-Star representative Matt Holliday, saying this is the reason we had to come to Boston.
Well, Matt can rip back saying, Helton, why didn't you make the All-Star team too?
1-2, missing up top, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Holliday really fond of Fenway Park, and the Rockies all believe, having played here back in June, took the awe of playing here out of this equation. Fouled off by Youkilis.
You know, that's exactly right. He was saying that before the game, how the atmosphere in June for him was unbelievable. He said he couldn't imagine it being any more exciting during the World Series than it was then. And, you know, now he's getting that opportunity to come back here and experience. And he also said that's when this team, OB, got a glimpse that they could be good.
Winning 2 out of 3 here. Bounced up there to the plate. You go back to that series in the middle of June. Rockies really dominated here. Holliday, Helton, and Atkins swung the bats very, very well. Beckett and Schilling got knocked around. It wasn't just this series. It was also, they talked about the Yankee series at Coors Field. Another glimpse to how good they could be.
Right after this one, they swept the Yankees at their ballpark.
That is down low for ball 4. And so Youkilis is on for the second time tonight.
You know, and I took a closer look at that earlier today, and the pitchers that they beat were Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit, and Mike Mussina. OB, that's over 800 career wins. That's also when this team started gaining that confidence, and then, of course, September.
Well, Francis, a rarity for him. He walks a man. Not only that, now he has to face David Ortiz. You know, the last 3 games of the League Championship Series, Ortiz only reached base 4 times. He was on 10 times in the first 4 games. Out in front on that pitch, and it's 0-1.
You know, after this game, OB, these 2 starting pitchers will probably come back in Game 5. Terry Francona has a tough decision to make. No designated hitter there in the National League Park. What does he do with Big Papi? I think a lot of that depends on what he does tonight along with Youkilis.
The 1 pitch is down and away.
If I got a right-handed pitcher on the mound, there's no doubt it's going to be Big Papi. But from what I've seen so far in Game 5 with Francis on the mound, Big Papi is going to be sitting right beside Terry Francona.
But it's going to be fascinating. Of course, if it's not Ortiz sitting, it's going to be Youkilis and Ortiz playing first base in Denver. That one sucked down the left field line, slicing into the corner, but a foul ball. Well, it started out of the crack of the bat fair, but then sliced and dropped harmlessly over that line.
That's not going to help Terry Francona's decision. You know, the one thing he did tell us before the game, he doesn't want to look out there and see Youkilis at third and Big Papi at first. That's not what we're all about.
Well, Mike Lowell drove in 120 runs. He's not going to sit.
And like Terry Francona said, he's the best third baseman in baseball right now defensively, in Francona's opinion.
Well, maybe history is going to be the final arbiter on this, because in 2004, the Red Sox played in St. Louis in the World Series, and David Ortiz played first base. And he is a serviceable first baseman. He's all right over there.
Well, how about Youkilis over there?
Youkilis is a Gold Glove candidate over there.
He didn't make an error.
Yeah. And not making any outs right now. You think it's easy to manage? Here comes the 1-2. Line shot over Tulowitzki. That's into the alley. Up against the wall. Here comes Youkilis rounding third. They're sending him home. Here comes the throw to the plate. He is safe at home. Ortiz drives in the run. Boston ahead now 4-1. The wet grass really contributed to this, because once it got into the alley, Sut, it took off.
You're exactly right. I think Matt Holliday thought he had this ball all the way. He thought he took the right angle to keep it off the wall, because once it got to the wall, that's when you knew third base coach DeMarlo Hale was going to send him. Holliday didn't feel like he was in a position to reach down and pick it up. And you know, if with Tulowitzki's arm, you can't get him at home, there wasn't going to be a shortstop in baseball that would get him. By the time Tavares picked it up, that is too late. Youkilis with 2 outs was off and running.
Just for that play to be that close is, I think, a tribute to the athletic ability of Troy Tulowitzki to scoop that one up off the wet grass, because the relay throw was low. And then he made a pretty good chuck to home plate. Ramirez to be walked intentionally here. This will put runners at first and second. Ortiz with an RBI double. Boston ahead 4-1. They'll pass on Ramirez to pitch to Mike Lowell. Now, this was a strategy that backfired time and time again on American League managers throughout the course of the season, as evidenced by the 120 runs batted in by Mike Lowell. Let's go back to that play, Sutton.
Well, you know, Holliday got there. It looked like he might have been able to bend over and pick it up, but when he decided not to, and I don't even know if he would have gotten it, his body was going in the opposite direction. If he could have turned around and got it in any quicker than that. But this is outstanding. You look at Youkilis right there. I'm not saying he's running fast, but he's running hard, and he got the perfect jump. DeMarlo Hale said, "Come on, big boy, I want to send you."
Here's Lowell taking his strike. 0 for 1 tonight. He's flying to center. Had a fairly quiet LCS, despite hitting safely in all but 1 of the 7. He did not have a hit against Paul Bird in Bird's start. Francis has given up 6 hits. He misses wide on Lowell. The left-hander up to 54 pitches. Hurdle already pacing as his top starter is getting spanked a bit. The inning started out with 2 quick outs. Well off the mark. 2-1.
This has got to remind Mike Lowell of Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Remember when Big Papi and Manny were on combined 10 consecutive times? Well, they've only been on 3 out of 4 here in the first 2 innings tonight, but that out was Big Papi's productive out.
The 2-1 finds the inside part of the plate to make it 2-2. Mike Lowell has been in a World Series before. Back in 2003 as a member of the Marlins against the Yankees. He hit .217. He only drove in 2 runs, but they really didn't need his bat, and they took the Yankees in 6 games in a stunning upset. Now trying to help the Red Sox win another World Series. Popped him up over first base. Helton backing out Matsui there along the line. He makes the catch, and the Red Sox settle for 1. But they reach Francis again, and at the end of 2 innings in Game 1 of the 2007 World Series, the Boston Red Sox flexing their muscle. They lead it 4-1. Watch and hear live game video and audio at MLB.tv and purchase authentic playoff gear. It's the real thing. MLB.com, where baseball is always on. We would love to hear from you wherever you're watching from around the globe. So drop us an email. Do it right now at tvquestions@website.mlb.com. I like to get a little pushy about it. Rick's always very nice about it.
Well, you know we're going to hear from Hank, man.
We got to hear from our man Hank, and the multitudes who are watching around the world. Send us an email at that site, and we'll do our best to answer it for you.
Well, we
live
got
and in person.
A little bit of an insight too into the armed forces with that flyover before the game. How exciting is that?
Pretty electric here at Fenway. Ryan Spilborghs, who is the designated hitter to lead off the inning against Beckett. On to the 3rd we go. Boston 4, Colorado 1. Already 5 doubles have been raked in this game. Too high with a fastball from Beckett, who has struck out 5 and given up 2 two-base hits. 1 for an RBI by Tulowitzki. Colorado has lost once in the last 38 days. And that has created the popular Rocktober movement in Denver. The ball club has actually applied to trademark that term. Todd Helton and company lighting up the city of Denver in October in baseball season. What a concept for them. Right through the chute for a strike. 3-1.
How about Kid Rocks? Are they trying to get that one too? Is there?
Well, you know, he's got that covered. Either he owns it or Pamela Anderson will soon own it. A line shot caught by Pedroia. Spilborghs lines out. Just the 2nd man in the game that Beckett has retired that he did not strike out. Top of the order now, and Willie Taveras. Beckett lost to Colorado. It came at a time when the Red Sox were finally starting to cool off a little bit after racing out to a 36-15 record, the best in the majors. Run up bunt by Taveras. He fouls it away. He is one of the best bunters in the game.
Well, and you knew that was going to happen, as overmatched as he was in his first at bat when he took a called 3rd strike. He saw nothing but fastballs. He knew what was coming there, but even his timing on that was a little bit off.
Shot high above Fenway Park, where the rain has almost completely stopped. Still kind of mucky conditions, and Ed Montague will do his best to keep home plate clean. They changed out the bases in between innings.
They were filthy from all of the traffic that had been going through there.
Yeah, but you're always a little bit of a neat freak. Swinging a high fly, left center field. Ramirez racing back on the run, reaches and makes the catch. Manny Ramirez. You really never know with Manny, but he got there.
Well, he's not going to get a great jump, you know that, and he's not real fast. But I'm telling you what, for Manny, this was not an easy play. He catches that ball in the very end of that glove there. You know that as he's running for it, he's looking up to Ellsbury saying, I hope you can get there. And he could see that wasn't going to happen. And even Beckett going, oh my.
Oh, yes. It's a bit of an adventure with the Red Sox left fielder at times. Here's Kaz Matsui, struck out in the first inning. Up high, ball one.
Tell you what, man, he came up big defensively in that ALCS when he had to. A couple of diving plays, and then, of course, that great throw to nail Kenny Lofton in Game 7.
The 1-0 pitch fouled away by Matsui. It's very common to see Manny Ramirez working on taking balls off the green monster in the hours leading up to a game. I was kind of interested in Matt Holliday's comments. He's only played here once before in that 3-game series back in June. Holliday said it's really nothing special. To me, it's just a wall. A very big wall, but it's a wall. But there are a lot of funny bounces out there, and a lot of places an outfielder can look ridiculous. Lugo to get underneath the pop-up by Matsui, and Beckett, no strikeouts for him in the third inning, but he mows them down 1-2-3. For the Red Sox, the home half of the third coming up. It'll be Varitek, Drew, and Lugo against Jeff Francis here in Game 1. World Series Game 1 from Fenway Park in Boston, and certainly an international flavor for the Colorado Rockies, including the man on the mound, Rick Sutcliffe, the Canadian-born out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Jeff Francis.
Well, there's no question that the international efforts have played a significant role in the Rockies' success this year. Their closer from Panama, their starting pitcher tonight. Matsui has just been tremendous. Venezuela, and of course, always represented as the Dominican Republic.
Francis was given the name Boom Boom by his parents after the legendary Montreal Canadiens Hall of Famer Boom Boom Geoffrion. That's also why they chose Jeff for his first name. Ironically, though, Francis never learned to skate and he never played hockey.
You know, and ironically as well, no Canadian has ever won a World Series game.
Varitek takes a strike. He ripped a single in the first inning. One of 5 hits off of Francis. J.D. Drew will follow, and then Julio Lugo for the Red Sox, who lead it 4-1. That's a strike.
I'll tell you what, I never played hockey growing up either, but playing in Chicago and St. Louis, I got to know a lot of hockey players, and I had no chance, and let alone I don't know how to skate.
I think you would have been a great goalkeeper.
No.
Pitch down and go.
No, they're not going to take shots at me and me not be able to do anything.
That's actually a good point.
And that fighting thing, I mean, every one of them, I think overall, truthfully, I mean, honestly, I think they're the best conditioned athletes in any sport. I really do.
Hard to argue. And you're right about being the goalkeeper. I mean, it's insane to stand in there and take those pucks at you at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Well, and then the guys are skating at you 1,000,000 miles an hour. Francis was too smart to do that. Look at all the money he's making just going out there once a week playing catch.
He's done awfully well in his sport of choice. A swing and a miss. Down goes Varitek on strikes. 2 Ks now for Francis. And by the way, on the topic, his fellow British Columbian Larry Walker has sent in several messages of congratulations to Francis and the rest of his former team, the Colorado Rockies, but particularly Francis, a fellow Canadian.
Well, Larry was one of the best players that I ever saw from anywhere.
Talk about, the 5 tools.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss by J.D. Drew. He doubled in a run in the first inning, so he stays hot. Francis desperately needs a quick inning. He threw 30 pitches in the first inning. He labored to throw 26 in the second inning. He's out in front on Drew, and it's 0-2.
Tell you what, the first time I saw Jeff Francis in person was during that World Baseball Classic. Pitching for Team Canada against Team Mexico. He got rocked in the first 2 innings of that game.
Softly dribbled to first base. Helton taps the bag for out number 2. Well, in the second inning, Francis struck out Ellsbury and then got Pedroia on a routine ground out. And it looked like he'd have that brief inning, but he walked Euclid, gave up the double to Ortiz. That drove in a run. Had to intentionally walk Ramirez to get to Lowell, and although that worked out, he was out there a long time. Wants to make it a quick third inning. Here comes Lugo. He is 0 for 1. Francis with a nice, easy delivery. A very deceptive motion as well. Rick, hitters talk about why he's deceptive.
Tell you what, he's so fluid with everything. He gets a lot of his power from his legs. That fastball is anywhere from 87 to 92 miles an hour. But I think more than anything, OB, it's the angle that he comes at a hitter with. It's a lot like what 6'10" Randy Johnson would do. He stays on the first base side of the rubber. He's kind of a 3/4 arm angle type guy. You don't see that release point.
Foul down the line and out of play. 2-1.
There's no way to get a batting practice pitcher to get out there and throw to you from that arm slot. And then you add the command that this kid has got. Not afraid to come in, a changeup and a breaking ball. He's going to be a good one for a while.
The 2-1 to Lugo. He runs up to bunt, drops down a beauty. Atkins has it roll right through him, but Lugo is on with a base hit. It's the second time in the postseason he has bunted his way on. And there goes the chance for Francis to get them in order.
Well, I tell you what, I think that's a good play, and not only because it's successful, but the thing is you get closer to the top of the order and bringing Ortiz and Manny back up again. Most people will tell you, OB, that's a bad play. With 2 outs and nobody on, you got to hit a double. And even with the speed of Lugo, where he might steal second, you got a left-hander on the mound. You're probably not going anywhere. You got the 9th guy up. But I think Lugo needs that for himself to get going.
Well, that gets it to Jacoby Ellsbury, who struck out looking in the second inning. Lugo was leaning. He gets back in safely. Ellsbury, the Red Sox center fielder and leadoff man of the future. That future is probably in 2008. Takes one outside. He did not accumulate enough plate appearances to give up his rookie status, so he will be a rookie come opening day next year, and he could win the Rookie of the Year. In fact, with Tulowitzki at short for Colorado and Pedroia at second for Boston, probably the 2 Rookies of the Year are here tonight in their respective leagues, and maybe next year's Rookie of the Year.
Don't you think that Ellsbury will be the heavy favorite?
I do.
Boy, Pedroia, I mean, you know, for a guy playing in his first month of September, to carry that right on over into October and on the biggest stage that baseball has, remarkable for both of these kids.
Rain coming down a little harder. It's intermittent.
Can't make up its mind, can it?
In the middle of every inning break, the grounds crew has met with the umpires to talk about the conditions and the forecast and the radar. 1-0 pitch hit on the ground to the second baseman Matsui, and that will do it. The Red Sox with a hit, 1 man left. A scoreless inning for Francis for the first time tonight, and amidst the raindrops, it's Boston 4, Colorado 1, going to the 4th. Canadian-born Eric Gagne is on the roster for the World Series. That surprised quite a few here in Boston. And a Japanese connection, which has been so good for the Red Sox. Matsuzaka and a reliever Hideki Okajima.
You know, I don't know if Gagne would have been on there had Tim Wakefield been able to stay healthy. I don't know about that, and we'll never know about that. But you look at Puerto Rico there and Mike Lowell, what he's done. Of course, there's the Dominican Republic, Big Papi, Manny Ramirez. You know, easy to see why the game of baseball has gotten better. That talent pool continues to grow.
Well, 2 American kids will tangle as the rain is starting to come down harder. Fouled away by Matt Holliday, who struck out in the first inning. This is in between innings now. Eddie Montague meeting with the grounds crew, the head groundskeeper.
Well, a lot of times during a regular season game, you think, can we get 5 innings in? That's not what they want to think right now. And I'm telling you one thing, the Red Sox do not want to delay because they don't want to shut down their big right-hander. But if it gets slippery, they don't want to leave him out there where he could get hurt.
The 0-1 pitch fouled back. You know, for the Cleveland Red Sox series, the ALCS, the weather was unseasonably warm for all 7 games. For the Rockies, though, this, of course, is nothing new. They had a snowstorm in Denver last week, so this is nothing.
Can't help but think I'd like to send this rain to our friends out there in Southern California.
That's a great point. The 0-2 pitch to Holliday, swatted at, sharp ground ball up for Lowell, and he's on to get him for out number 1. For Southern California, if you've not been following the story, in San Diego and parts of Los Angeles ravaged by fires, those brush fires which have destroyed something along the lines of 2,000 homes. It's become a giant story. That part of California has been declared a disaster area by President Bush, who is traveling to Southern California on Thursday. Just a terrible state of events there in Southern Cal. We wish all of those folks nothing but the best. Held with a swing and a high fly ball. He jacks it deep to left field, off the green monster, straight down to the warning track. And Helton is on with a 2-base hit, yet another double. Well, that's 3 hits off of Beckett tonight, and all of them have been doubles.
Well, and all 3 of them have hit off the green monster. Todd Helton, almost a Boston Red Sox during the summer. There was a lot of talk, things written and said about him coming over here. But I think the Red Sox are happy with what they got there. And, you know, that's what Todd Helton said earlier about it means so much more to get to the World Series with that uniform on.
34-year-old former National League batting champ, 10 seasons in the majors before finally getting a taste of postseason play this October. Here's Atkins. He's ripped a double and scored a run for Colorado. 4-1 Boston. We are in the top half of the 4th inning.
You know, kind of interested to see how Josh goes about this guy that had all that success off of. That first pitch, he yanked it out of the strike zone, that fastball, instead of just pouring it through the zone as he has on everybody else.
Fouled away by Atkins, who has 7 hits and 11 at bats off of Josh Beckett. Atkins, a 3-time All-American at UCLA. He grew up very close to Dodger Stadium in Irvine, California. He said when he was a kid he went to Dodger Stadium only a couple of times a year despite living so close. He says most of his Dodger memories come from watching Vince Scully on TV. That's in there for a strike. Very streaky hitter. But 111 runs batted in during the season.
Well, you know, and streaky a lot like the Rockies have been for a long time when they hit it home. Atkins 301 on the year, but almost 350 in Denver.
A 1-2, and it just missed. Veritek held it for an extra beat. 2-2.
Open. Trying to catch the top of that strike zone on the outside corner. Ball did come back to the corner, but in the mind of Eddie Montague, not quite enough.
And Terry Francona singled out Atkins before tonight's game. He said he's absolutely one of the toughest outs in this lineup.
Especially for Beckett.
Still 2-2.
See so far on this at bat, Beckett and Veritek, of course, who Beckett rarely shakes off. I mean, they made an adjustment. He was sitting on that curveball the last time and hit it high off the wall. They've almost been afraid to throw that pitch. They have been up to this point.
A raw and soggy night in Boston. Red Sox on top 4-1, but the Rockies are knocking on the door again with Helton at second. Waved at and missed. He got him with the breaking ball. And strikeout number 6 for Beckett, his first since the second inning.
It wasn't only a breaking ball, OB, but it was the best one he's thrown tonight. Look at the finish on that pitch. Look at the tilt to it. When you got a guy that throws this hard, it's just so hard to stay on that pitch. And right at the end, Atkins pulled off of it. That was a good battle right there, and that one was won by Josh Beckett.
2 down. Here's Brad Hopp, who struck out in the second inning. Left-handed hitter and one of the 3 Rockies who drove in 100+ runs this year. A little late on that fastball. 0-1.
And one of those Rockies in the heart of the order with all of those homers. And that right now is what the Rockies need, just one of them, to get back into this ball game, at least get it close.
Hopp, another major leaguer out of that Louisiana State baseball machine. Two down in the 0-1. Oh, another nasty breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
That second time through the order. They're so much more effective, OB, when they haven't seen them before. Remember the first inning, he struck everybody out just going with fastballs. Now that second time through the lineup, you've got a better chance of fooling them with something else.
Number 7 for Beckett. Back-to-back strikeouts in the 4th. And 2 guys who each drove in over 100 runs in Atkins and Hopp. He got them back-to-back. Dustin Pedroia, who's already belted a home run tonight, will lead things off for the Red Sox when we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 4-1 Boston. Bottom of the 4th inning will be the top of the order for the Red Sox, who have a 4-1 lead over Colorado. And going back to the American League Championship Series, which the Red Sox won in 7 games. Pedroia in that 7th inning. It was 3-2, and then moments later it was 5-2.
But the most impressive thing to me about that homer was the fact that he hit it off Betancourt. Betancourt was untouchable up until that homer, and he follows that momentum right here to Game 1 of the World Series with another one.
You know, even before that clutch 2-run home run in Game 7, Pedroia was killing Cleveland the last 3 games of that series. He was on base 9 times. He scored 5 times and went 7 for 13 in those last 3 games. So when he was telling everyone early in the series, Rick, you know, I'm swinging a pretty good bat. No one's giving me any credit for it. It doesn't reflect in the batting average, but I'm actually doing much better than anyone thinks. No one really listened, but he was right.
Well, his hitting coach there, Dave Maganin, who's just outstanding, he was listening.
Grounded toward the middle, tough play. Tulowitzki from the center field grass. Look at the arm strength to get Pedroia. We talked about the cannon he possesses. Pedroia even looking over his shoulder to get another look.
You know, I was talking with one of the coaches, Walt Weiss, before the game, and he said, Sut, you won't believe this guy. It's a combination of being an athlete and then also being strong. You take a look at the athleticism that got him there in position, and then the arm strength that you can't teach. He said he gets to so many balls, you go, wow, he got to it. But he said that's not the amazing thing. It's that he finishes the play. OB, you see a guy make that play up the middle and go, wow, he's got great range, but you know what? He never got the throw off.
Or got it there late.
Exactly.
He definitely finished that play. Here's Youkilis. who has doubled and walked and scored twice. Youkilis very easily could have been the MVP of the American League Championship Series. It went to Josh Beckett instead. But that was a close vote. On the inside corner for a strike. He drove in 7 runs in that series. He scored 10 runs. But on the RBIs, Dustin Pedroia said, you know, David and Manny aren't even getting the opportunity to drive me in. Uke's doing the job. He pops this one up, twisting foul off first base. Helton looking for some room. Matsui behind him makes the catch. Close to that rolled up tarp, and we hope it stays that way all night.
Boy, Matsui covered that ground in a hurry. Todd Helton, I mean, he's a Gold Glove guy, but he didn't look like he wanted a whole lot to do with that one. You're not only battling to win, the ball was as high up as it could get. You got the rain. Matsui with a long ways to go, but he makes the easier call and the easier catch. Coming in behind it, look at that. Las Diaz just about went down trying to get over there, the umpire.
Two down for David Ortiz, who lays off the first one for ball 1. He's grounded out. He's also doubled in a run. The top 4 in the Red Sox order, which was so deadly down the stretch of the ALCS, is doing it again tonight. Pedroia has homered. Youkilis has scored twice. Ortiz has an RBI. Ramirez has an RBI. He's been on board twice. And the Red Sox lead at 4-1. Ramirez on deck. Right through it, 2-1. This is the kind of pitcher who can really tie up David Ortiz because of that breaking ball away off the plate.
Well, and again, it's a release point that's just not comfortable for a left-handed hitter.
2-2.
You see the radar gun there. It said 86 miles an hour. That's not going to bother Big Papi. And it was a fastball that would have been called a strike. Big Papi will normally make contact with this. I mean, he's going to put the bat on it, but not with the release point of Jeff Francis.
Francis thinking strikeout on a 1-2-3 inning. Fought off by Ortiz, who's upset with himself. Still 2-2.
You know, still in the back of your mind, you wonder about the knee of Big Papi. We know he's going to have surgery at the end of the year. And you know what? That's a question that Terry Francona has to think about before he puts him out there at first base in Game 3 if he does.
I think you're right, how well he can move. Swung on, ripped into left field for a base hit, a slicing single. Well, he can certainly still do that, and has 2 hits tonight. Whether or not his mobility is affected by that knee problem and whether he can play first base in Denver remains to be seen. But yet another line drive off into left field on Francis, and that is 8 hits for Boston. Jeff Francis still has yet to negotiate a quick inning. Now he has to face Manny Ramirez.
You know, Big Papi didn't get down the line very good. And take a look at this earlier in that at bat. Look at that swing there and how he just, I mean, that's not him. Look at that. How, see how awkwardly he got off of that leg? That man's in pain.
Well, he's taking cortisone shots for it. Down low, ball 1. But it's a torn meniscus, which will require arthroscopic surgery when the season's over. Whenever that postseason run does end for Boston. You know what, though? If you can wake up from the anesthesia and see a World Series ring sitting on your nightstand, it takes away some of the pain, doesn't it?
It helps that recovery period, does it not?
It might, if he can get that far. That's a cross for a strike. Manny having a tremendous postseason run. He has driven in 15 runs in 11 playoff games. He's hitting over 400 for the postseason.
You know, for the kids that weren't around in the late 70s or early 80s, this is Mr. October to them. The all-time leader in postseason home runs.
outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. 24 of them. And when you top names like Reggie Jackson and Mickey Mantle, you are saying something. Postseason homers. He hit 1 in the World Series of 2004 in the Red Sox sweep of the Cardinals and wound up the MVP of that series. Outside, 3-1.
You know, and you just think about what it took to get there. Well, Big Papi was the MVP of that American League Championship Series. A wonderful comeback against the Yankees. And then, as you said, Manny took over, hitting over 400 in that World Series.
I think it's where the Red Sox have a huge advantage in this series. They have 3 players who have been the MVP of a World Series. Josh Beckett, Curt Schilling, and Manny Ramirez. The Rockies have 1 player who's ever appeared in a World Series. A strike. That's Willie Taveras, who was with Houston in 2005 against the White Sox.
But they lost.
They got swept.
You know, and you look back the last 3 years, the World Series doesn't last long. 2 sweeps and 1 5-game series.
3-2 on Ramirez. A runner at first, 2 out. Red Sox ahead 4-1 in the 4th inning. Spoiled by Ramirez. They'll do it again. '89 pitches already for Jeff Francis. Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, keeping tabs on that. Nobody warming in the bullpen yet for Colorado. But here comes pitch number 90. Ortiz being held by Helton. And the 3-2. It's sharply but foul and almost got DeMarlo Hale. But had to dance a jig to get out of the way.
Looks like he's moving around much better than Big Papi. You look at that. I mean, here's an older man that doesn't have a glove, who's actually, to begin with, closer to the hitter than the third baseman is. I don't know how those guys ever get life insurance.
Francis delivers to Ramirez. Rake the other way. That's heading into the alley. It'll skip and roll to the edge of the warning track. Ortiz into third. He applies the brakes. Ramirez slides in with a double. The Red Sox with 9 hits, not a cheapie amongst them. Every one of them has been ripped.
Well, first of all, it's a great piece of hitting. They continue to have their way off of Jeff Francis. But what a terrific job here on the angle by Taveras. He goes there knowing that the grass is slick, the ball is going to take off, but he got deep enough, OB, to where he could circle it, keep it from getting to the wall, which is the thing that kept the runner from scoring. That's exactly the opposite of what happened on the ball that was hit in the left center field gap back in the 2nd inning when that run scored. DeMarlo Hale wanting to send the runner if he could, but after he saw what Taveras did, no chance.
That's the 7th double for the 2 teams combined here at Fenway in Game 1.
Now look at this. Remember when they intentionally walked Manny to get to Lowell? Look at what they're going to do here.
Well, they're going to put him on.
They're going to walk Lowell to get the Tech.
So this will be an intentional pass of Mike Lowell to load up the bases for the Red Sox. And Boston with 6 2-out hits tonight. 2-out hits. It's a big reason the Rockies are into the World Series. Franklin Morales, the left-hander, is beginning to loosen. First bullpen activity of Game 1 and of this World Series. So Clint Hurdle, the first one to blink.
Now, he was telling us in the manager meeting, there really isn't anybody you can pitch around. We've got matchups and stuff that we like as far as our bullpen's concerned. Tell you what, we're seeing it played out just the opposite. And he intentionally walked Manny. Now he intentionally walks Lowell.
Apodaca out for his first visit with the 26-year-old from Vancouver, British Columbia. And it'll be Jason Varitek to try and bust up the inning in a big way. And single here could very well make it 6-1 Boston.
You know, the one thing I'll always understand intentionally walking Manny. I mean, that's a Hall of Famer. Mike Lowell has been a good player. He had a great year. But you got a guy out there that won 17 games. Your guy's pretty good, too. And when you load the bases up, I mean, you've got no margin for error. He got Lowell out on the infield pop-up the last time up. To me, if I'm the guy on the mound, I want a chance to go at Lowell. I know there's a base open. I'm not going to give in to him. But at least I got a shot at getting him before my back's to the wall with no room to maneuver.
The truth is, Francis had retired Lowell relatively easily the first 2 times on a short fly out and a pop-up. Now they're filled up for Varitek. And he lets the first one go for ball 1.
Right now as a pitcher, and I've been that guy many, many times, you go, oh boy, I can't walk him. I've got nowhere to put him.
Varitek has singled and struck out. Another long inning for Francis. His 3rd straight inning. His 3rd inning in a game with at least 25 pitches. Outside, and it's 2-0. And with everyone that misses, the thought creeps in. There's Ortiz. Ramirez at second. Lowell the intentional pass at first.
They'll be there doing it again with 2 outs, that being the Boston Red Sox.
In for a strike. The fans here in Boston chanting Francis, Francis.
They're great, man. They have a lot of fun, and they should. Their team's a lot of fun to watch.
The Sox rhythm section at work again. Ropes. Fair ball down the line. 1 run in. Here comes Ramirez. 2 runs in. And the move by Clint Hurdle backfires as Varitek tears into yet another double. And the Red Sox lead it 6-1.
Well, Varitek can do it from both sides of the plate. And Obi, when the bases are loaded, Varitek's been behind home plate. He knows as a catcher your pitcher's in trouble. He just set on something middle in, and he took the biggest rip at it that he could. Nothing Adkin could do down the 3rd base line. That ball got into the stands in a hurry, and 2 more runs and an opportunity to blow this game open for Boston.
Well, the game getting away from Clint Hurdle as Drew fouls out away. The Red Sox with 6 runs on 10 hits and 6 doubles. Varitek knocking that one on 1 bounce into the stands. 2nd and 3rd for Boston. They may not be done with a big inning yet. Nothing in 2 on J.D. Drew, who has one of those doubles. He's also grounded out to first. Drew has now hit in 7 straight postseason games.
You know that he's ready. And how about these guys? Remember the other day when Beckett was down there in Game 7? I didn't see him beating on anything.
0-2 pitches up and away. One-two, and he got him. And Francis finally out of the inning, but the Red Sox had a couple of more runs, and now they've opened up a comfortable margin thanks to the Varitek double. It is now 6-1 Boston.
Got some Texas girls there as the backup band for a Texas guy, the Dixie Chicks, setting up Josh Beckett here in the top of the 5th.
7 strikeouts for the right-hander through 4 innings, allowing 3 hits. Oddly, all of them doubles. He still hasn't walked anyone, just 1 walk the entire postseason. Tulowitzki will test him for the 2nd time as we are on to the 5th inning. 6-1 Red Sox. Troy Tulowitzki, the rookie, with a double first time around, and he takes up an in-ball 1. Tulowitzki out of Sunnyvale, California. He says he could have played Division I college basketball. He was good enough as a senior out of Fremont High School in California. Ground ball deep short. Lugo reaches, guns, gets him. He may not have Tulowitzki's arm, but he's got plenty there, and that's out number 1. And that'll bring up Yorvi Torrealba.
It'll take some time to get your footwork set with that grass being wet. Baseball is going to be a little slick. Nothing's routine right now, particularly on that infield.
Well, the rain has just about died off, but it has been off and on steadily. And more may be on the way. We talk about the Red Sox success scoring with 2 outs. The Rockies have scored almost 70% of their postseason runs with 2 out. They've hit .360 with 2 out and men on base, but the Red Sox have mastered that plan tonight. That fastball right down the middle. 0-2. Red Sox with 4 2-out runs on their side of the ledger tonight. Stealing a page from Clint Hurdle's team. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball, swooping down low. 1-2 on Torrealba.
This year, Josh Beckett really took his whole game to another level. He got that first out and he needed to get it, but once he got it, the first 2 pitches to Torrealba were just sinking fastballs. Just outer half. Go ahead and hit it. If you hit it, you're going to hit it on the ground. But when he got 2 strikes, he started thinking strikeout.
Well, there's another strikeout for him as he drops in the hook and fans Torrealba, number 8 for Beckett. 2 gone very quickly in the 5th for the Rockies.
You know, he gave you pitches on the outer half to hit. Fastball's fastball. But when you didn't hit him and didn't swing at him, now he goes, you know what? I'll take it from here. And he does with that big. I mean, the only guy I've seen square up that curveball was Atkins in his first at bat. And I mean, I'm talking the whole postseason.
What is that? A pair of jelly legs or what? Not a good curve to start. Spielberg's lined out to second, 0 for 1.
I just got word from the truck he might leave the game with a strained back.
Torrealba, yeah. I think he almost hurt himself.
It's too good a line for me to take credit for.
Comes right back with the heat. Well, there isn't a pitcher alive right now who is throwing better than Josh Beckett.
Well, there was no pitcher in all of baseball that won 20 games this year other than Josh Beckett.
The crowd up at Fenway in the 0-2 pitch. 1-2.
Montague's so good. I mean, this crowd wanted it. There's a lot of umpires that would have given it to him, but it's a ball.
Inside 2-2 on Spielberg's with .299 during the season with 11 homers. So he has a little bit of power. 6 runs, 10 hits for Boston, 1 run on 3 hits for Colorado. It was after the 5th inning back in June that Beckett left the game against the Rockies. He got knocked around, not so tonight. That missed for ball 3.
You're right. And Eddie Montague was right again. Jason Varitek will show you. Watch what he does with the glove. He's going to bring it back a little bit. They wanted it.
Beg to differ. High for ball 4. He let him go, and there finally is a walk issued by Beckett. He's on the verge of a strikeout there. Well, we're right back here at Fenway Park in Boston for Game 2 of the World Series. The Rockies will send out the right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez to the mound to face Curt Schilling for the Red Sox. Game time will be 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT. That's tomorrow. Right here, live coverage of the World Series on Major League Baseball International. Curt Schilling all bundled up tonight. He'll be ready to go for Game 2. Which Curt Schilling, however, well rested. He is pretty close to the old guy, not in terms of velocity, but in terms of performance. But he's not getting a lot of rest this time around. The pitch down into the dirt for a ball on Tavares.
Yeah, his last several outings have been on extra rest. And Obi, I'm telling you, having been that older guy, it definitely helps that arm strength to come back. It's going to be interesting. Not in the first inning, because Schilling will come from the bullpen. He'll be good and hot and lathered. He'll be able to go. But what his velocity is in the second inning will be the key, I think, to his night.
In this World Series, however, his ankle is fine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tavares jackknifes a bit. He has struck out and flied out.
Beckett's in trouble. I mean, he is really, really struggling.
He's missed with 6 in a row all of a sudden.
Well, I'm talking about that's his second walk of this postseason. But like you say, it came after he had an 0-2 count with 2 outs and nobody on. That's not Beckett-like.
Popped up. Youkilis wants room, but will find none. It's over the top of that dugout.
Here's what he was able to do this year to really drastically cut down on the home runs that he allowed. 2-0. This ball's right down the middle, but it's a two-seamer. Take a look at the movement and how it takes off and comes in on the right-hander. He's not trying to locate it. He's just throwing it as hard as he can and hoping that that late movement, see it there? Even as it slowed down, that late movement helps him get the out and gets the at-bat over with.
He's gone to 3-1 on Tavares. Kaz Matsui loosening up on deck. This will just be the 68th pitch of the night for Beckett. Fouled off by Tavares off into the seat. So with 2 down and a runner at first, that runner Spilborghs will get a head start. But the crowd rises and they want to cheer another Beckett K. He gets Tavares. This will be number 9. Well, this has been his longest inning with those 17 pitches thus far. The 3-2. Little blooper headed toward right. Racing out Pedroia. Now turns and he's got it. So we have played 4.5 innings with the home team ahead. This is now an official game. But Beckett and the Red Sox, they want to go all the way. 6-1 Boston in World Series Game 1. In places like Mozambique and Lithuania, Greenland and Morocco, Honduras, and the Netherlands. Thanks so much for all you do, and we certainly would love to hear from you throughout the course of this World Series. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien with you on a night that is suddenly dry at Fenway. We've had off and on rain. The Red Sox, it has been raining hits, and the Rockies are going to go to a new man out of the bullpen, and the left-hander Franklin Morales.
Well, you can see not a new man to the postseason. He had 2 starts. ERA up there a little bit. You can see the walks a little higher than you like, but you're talking about another guy with a really good arm and a bright future for Colorado.
Bottom of the 5th here, the Red Sox have Lugo, Ellsbury, and then Pedroia, 8-9-1 against the southpaw. The first lefty, Francis, got roughed up tonight. Lugo having to skip the rope. He has dropped down a bunt single and grounded out.
You know, one thing too will be right along. You were in the clubhouse with me when the guys were telling us, but Todd Helton and Holiday, they too, you know, wanted to send out a hello to all of our men and women in the armed forces. And you have any questions for them? I mean, not just for us. You know, pass them along. I'll be happy before the game to go in the clubhouse and get your answer.
Francis incidentally faced 25 batters and 13 of them reached, and 6 of them scored. Not the start they were looking for from their ace in game 1.
Well, he just wasn't sharp. And, you know, we've talked about it. It's been 8 days since their team has played a game. It was longer than that for him, and it just started right off the bat. He centered one to Pedroia. He hit it out. Youkilis doubled, and, you know, the onslaught was on.
Well, this email is in from the Pacific Ocean, Rick. Guys, just wanted to say hi to the crew of the United States Coast Guard cutter Boutwell. Couldn't be any happier to be watching the first game of the World Series underway. Line drive up the middle and a base hit for Julio Lugo on base for the second time. We're currently sailing in the Pacific Ocean, coming close to finishing, get this, our 100-plus day patrol. Was wondering if you can broadcast that the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Boutwell and the crew will be home soon, and wishes the Red Sox good luck. That's from Mark Climacosa.
We want to send our good luck to you guys, man. Come home safe. Sacrifice bunt. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see that in this at bat.
Ellsbury is 0 for 2. Red Sox up by 5. He turns the bunt, pulls it away. That's ball 1.
You know, one thing that over the years with watching Terry Francona, I've seen him do in spots like this, although Morales throws hard, he might still want to help his young hitter. Turn him loose. You know you're going to get a fastball. By design, he's going to try to throw it for a strike. It should be a good pitch to swing at.
He bunts. Morales with a play at second, whips it, and got the out. Nicely played by the left-hander, pouncing on the bunt by Ellsbury. It will not be a sacrifice. 1 man out.
Well, he's a pretty good athlete. You can see how he bounces off the mound. It wasn't a great bunt, but you wouldn't think you'd need a great bunt with the speed of Lugo there. But when he gets off to it, and with his arm strength and the target he had down there at second, take a look at it. You wanted to try to get the first baseman to field it. There he is. And then look at Tulowitzki. Look at that 6'5" wingspan playing first base at second to get the out.
Now, the Red Sox had very good speed on. Now they have outstanding speed at first base, although not what Ellsbury had in mind. And here's Pedroia, who's whacked a homer. He's also grounded out twice, 1 for 3. He looks at a strike. His night started in the first inning with a home run that barely cleared the top of the green monster and left off of Jeff Francis. And Pedroia also hit the key home run for Boston in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. He had 8 during the course of the season. Another email sucked, this one coming from Chief Craig Cole, currently deployed in Al Asad, Iraq. He says, looks like another great game here. I grew up in Essex, Mass. I've been a Sox fan my whole life. My wife is currently in San Diego. Luckily, she and my 2 young children are safe. My question is, do you think Curt Schilling will retire upon completion of this season?
No.
Swung on, popped up. The shortstop, Tulowitzki, getting underneath it. 2 down.
You know, and the reason I say that is because I've seen that look in Curt Schilling's eye, that he still has the desire to prepare to play. I mean, he's in great shape. He does all of the little things that he needs to take his turn every 5th day, and there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, everybody always has that passion to play, but you have to prepare to play to be able to perform. And you know what? Curt Schilling still has that passion.
Chief Cole also wants us to say happy 3rd birthday to his daughter Mackenzie. He's watching in California. Hello to all his friends and family, and see you soon. Runner on at first base. That's going to be a balk. They're going to send him down to second. Let's take another look.
And that one was called from home plate umpire Eddie Montague, which leads him to believe that what he thought was it wasn't the angle that was needed. Look at him. I mean, he doesn't hesitate whatsoever. He didn't think that the line towards first base was the angle that he needed. And you know what? From that angle, I think Eddie Montague was right. Kind of surprised that Laz Diaz at first base didn't make that same call.
You talked about Eddie Montague being probably your favorite umpire all through the years that you pitched into the current day.
You know, I really do, because I think that he does everything he can in the best interest of the game. And, you know, what I mean by that is if it's a regular season game and it's 10-1 in the 8th inning, he'll tell the hitter. He's told me when I've come up to home plate, you know what, be swinging. He'll say my zone's a little bit bigger than what it was. Now, he won't call the third strike on you and take that away from you. But you know what? The game's over. I mean, everybody's gone home. If the ball's 3 or 4 inches off the corner, it's the right height that you can handle, you know, be swinging, because he's telling you, I'm going to be calling that. We're going to get out of here.
Just outside on Youkilis, who has doubled, walked, and popped up. 2 out, Ellsbury at second. Game 1 of the World Series. Red Sox on top by 5.
Boy, that's got a great ring to it. I'm just talking about Game 1 of the World Series. Youkilis in his first World Series.
That's right. He did participate in the first round of the playoffs in 2004, but he was not on the roster for the World Series that year, and the Red Sox won it all. Colorado into the World Series for the first time in franchise history.
You know, and you take a look at Ellsbury. You know, his first year, his first month in the big leagues, and here he is. But what? This organization, too, is in so much better shape now than it was in 04. All of the options that they've got. You know, Terry Francona, I was laughing at him talking about the problem he had when they get to the National League Park. Who's going to play first? That's a nice problem to have. You know, I mean, that's not a problem, okay? That's a decision you've got to make. That's not a problem.
I'm glad he's making it, though. I mean, if you're a Red Sox fan, that's a very difficult call. A swing and a shot down the line. That's going to drop and roll up against the wall. Another run home. Ellsbury scores. Youkilis hot as they come. An RBI double to make it 7-1 Boston.
Seven runs, 7 RBIs for the Red Sox by 6 different guys. Youkilis has scored 2. Now he's driven in 1. Just production throughout that lineup. Again for Boston.
6 doubles for the Sox tonight. Throw in a home run. 5 of the 7 have scored with 2 out. Next in, Ortiz has a nice night brewing. He has an RBI double. He has a single. He scored a run. 2 for 3. In the World Series back in 2004, he hit a home run. He drove in 4. He hit .308. Shot toward the alley. That might be another double. Maybe even more. Out there, Taveras, and now Ortiz will rumble into second with a run-scoring double. Boston on top, 8-1. Back-to-back doubles here, and 3 hits for Ortiz. And the Red Sox are knocking around Clint Hurdle's team.
Well, I'm telling you what, Big Papi saw what Youkilis did in his last at bat, and he knows that if he wants to play in Game 3 at first base, he's got to keep up with Kevin Youkilis, and he's doing everything he can. That is his 3rd consecutive hit, 2 doubles in the last 3 innings for Big Papi.
Well, for him, 3 hits and a productive out in that very first inning. The look from on high as Ortiz finds the gap. Taveras able to cut that off before it rolled by him deep into that triangle.
And did you say maybe 3?
Well, if it had gotten by Taveras, maybe. Heck, if it had rolled into that alley, he could have crawled in.
I remember Big Papi a couple years ago talking about triples. He said, I don't want any.
Tonight they don't need any. They're all doubles. Manny has one as well. He's gone 2 for 2 and takes a strike.
Okay, we're thinking 3 here, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he checked the third base coach. He said no, didn't he? You know, he has done, look at that, World Series record. 7 doubles tonight. Poppy's done so much for this team, and in particular that clubhouse.
13 hits tonight for the Red Sox. And the 2 base hits just keep on coming. Ramirez up to 438 for his postseason average. Again, the top 4 for Boston doing most of that damage. They have 8 of those 13 Red Sox hits. That's in tight for a ball, and Morales evens the count at 2-2 on Ramirez.
You know, I stand corrected. Our superstar Marty Aronoff here in the booth brings it to my attention. Big Papi has at least 1 triple in each of the last 7 years. You knew that, didn't you?
I bet most of them wound up right out there at that 420 mark eventually.
That triangle.
Line drive, softly hit over Tulowitzki. Here comes Ortiz, and it's another run fest for the Red Sox, who lead it 9-1. 3 hits for Ramirez. And looking more and more like it's the 4th consecutive blowout win for the Red Sox here in the postseason.
Man, you just go back to after Game 4 in Cleveland. Everybody thought that, wow, this series is not even going to make it back to Boston. Josh Beckett brought it back. And boy, the offense took off from there. They've continued to score a lot of runs, and they're doing it again tonight.
Only the 5th inning. Apodaca making another trip to the mound. 9-1 Red Sox. They've out-hit Colorado 14-3 already.
Don't you think that momentum that they gained in the 8th inning of Game 7 of the ALCS really has carried over into this?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I think everyone talks about pitching being tomorrow's momentum builder, and that's often true, but when teams feel good about themselves at the bat, up and down the lineup, that's another kind of momentum.
Well, you're exactly right. That momentum started with, they scored 6 runs in that 8th inning. They had a single, they had 3 doubles, and a home run by Youkilis.
Activity in the bullpen again for Colorado as Mike Lowell climbs in. 2 down. Lowell looking for his first hit. He is hitless, and so is Jacoby Ellsbury. But everybody else in the Red Sox lineup has at least 1 hit. That fastball missed. 2-0.
Well, you mentioned that the Red Sox already with 14 hits. The Rockies have only recorded 14 outs.
Down that line. That's a fair ball up against the wall. Ramirez into third. He slides in. Yet another double for the Boston Red Sox. Mike Lowell is into the hit column. 2nd and 3rd and 2 down for the Red Sox.
They're having a lot of fun. They're getting a lot of really good pitches to hit, and when you've got a team as hot offensively as the Red Sox are right now, they're going to make you pay for it.
The 8 doubles ties a World Series record. And it's the 5th inning. 7 different Red Sox have an extra base hit tonight. Here's Varitek. He has one of those doubles. Well, Youkilis has 2. Ortiz has 2. Lowell has 1. Varitek with a double for J.D. Drew. 8 total for Boston, including a home run by Dustin Pedroia. One ball and 1 strike. Well, I think you can start to knock around at least the question. Do you continue to roll Josh Beckett out there tonight with a big lead like this?
Well, I would for at least 1 and maybe 2 more. I don't think there's any chance. They didn't do it in the ALCS, that they're going to do it in the World Series and bring him back on short rest for Game 4.
So even though Game 4's starter has not been announced, it looks like it's going to be John Lester. He worked yesterday extensively with the idea of stretching him out to get him prepared for Game 4. You don't think Terry Francona would even think about it?
Beckett's been stretched out all year long. Innings, strikeouts. He's 27 years of age. You want to get back here to the playoffs next year, you're going to need him. I totally agree. And you know what, Obi, you're the one that brought it to my attention. Boston has always, I mean, ever since Terry Francona took over, has favored the side of not taking a chance on injuries.
They have always, if they were going to make an error, it was on the side of caution on a player.
Wakefield right now.
Yep.
You know what?
Great example. Yep.
You're tender. We're not chancing it.
The 3-1. Down into the dirt, and the bases are loaded. For Morales, it's become a nightmare inning. Red Sox have already scored 3 times, and now they are filled up for J.D. Drew, who has hit a memorable grand slam in this postseason. And I think just to finish off that comment, Clay Buchholz, they shut him down entirely before the postseason got underway. There's a look at that grand slam against the Cleveland Indians. J.D. Drew, as all that frustration about his disappointing season melted away with 1 swing.
That was kind of a coming out party for him right there to join in on the fun.
He's 1 for 3 with a double. In the last 7 games, he has 10 runs batted in. And a chance for more. The fastball in for a strike.
Well, JD's been in the postseason many times, but his team has never gotten to the World Series, in part because he's never really done a whole lot until that swing of the bat.
Red Sox with a man at every base, and a nice save by Torrealba. He had to scoot out, clear the other side batter's box, and then some to stop this wild pitch.
Well, that won't be the last time you say that in this series, because he is outstanding defensively. That's how he was able to win that position over on an everyday basis. You know, one thing from Morales you got to remember will be he's a starting pitcher. He started 2 games in the postseason. You say, well, isn't pitching? No, it's not really. It's not that way. The starting pitcher, you prepare yourself differently. You have a routine. You have more time in the bullpen to get ready. And when this young man took the mound, I'm not taking anything away from what Boston can do offensively, but he's not been right.
Drew, the 9th man to bat in this inning, looks at a ball outside, and it's 3-1. The Red Sox are 1 more ball away from getting into double digits here in Game 1. The bases jammed. Ramirez, Mike Lowell, and Varitek filling them up. Well, the Fenway faithful are hungry for more as the rain falls a little harder. Here's the 35th pitch of the inning. Ground ball toward the middle. Tulowitzki can only knock it down. Ramirez is in. Everyone else will hold up. And the Red Sox lead it 10-1. J.D. Drew with another RBI hit. Tulowitzki with a valiant effort, but could not keep that one from becoming an RBI single.
Well, it would have been a 2 RBI single. Just about all that big man can do, knocking it down. No chance, and really at this point, no need to try to stretch 1 more run in.
So this one has turned into a laugher as Glenn Hurdle has to go to the bullpen. Ryan Spire coming out of that pen. And the man who started it all, Julio Lugo, is about to hit for the second time in this inning. This copyrighted telecast is the property of the Office of the Commissioner of Major League Baseball and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmissions, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
Well, the good news for the Rockies is the fact they got a lot of guys down there that need some work. The way things are going right now, Ryan Spire out there, you see that he too has come out of the bullpen. He's got some experience in this situation. Try to get this final out here in the 5th inning.
So Hurdle a little busier certainly than he wanted to be here in game 1, making changes. 10 runs on 16 hits for Boston.
I don't know about you, but all of a sudden I feel a lot safer.
Well, that's because we have Major General Mike Doobie with us in the booth, along with Major Brian Waters and Lieutenant Colonel Luke Amon. These are the gentlemen who did our flyover tonight. Did a magnificent job, rocked the house.
Yeah, I want you to know I didn't know about it, and I'm telling you, I started sweating, man.
Pretty special stuff.
Awesome, man.
To see those coming right at you the way they are. And by the way, I don't know if you guys ever get a chance, but I'd love to be able to just play the soundtrack for you of how the crowd reacts when you guys are working. You guys are fantastic, and wonderful to hear the way the crowd reacts to you guys. Great job, Mike, tonight.
Well, thank you very much. We're real proud of the guys, and you know, the flyby is for the crowd, but it's also a representation of all the men and women that are serving, and we're just proud to be able to do it.
Well, because we're on the Armed Forces Network, and our military men and women all across the globe get a chance to see that, I know they share in that pride with you, and we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts as well.
Thank you.
You guys are just back from duty too, aren't you?
Just back from Iraq. Everyone did a great job. You know, it's a tough duty over there, and all the men and women that are serving the armed forces are making America proud, and it's a tough duty.
Well, you're doing that, and you made us proud again tonight. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it very much. Great work. You guys are the best. On it rolls for the Boston Red Sox. Lugo batting with the bases loaded here against Spire. Some of these Red Sox line drives are almost like flybys here in the first 5 innings tonight.
He's done that before. I mean, he didn't panic at all when I handed him the headset.
No, he likes wearing the headset. Yeah, they don't sweat that. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 out. Lugo in the game has gone 2 for 3 with a couple of singles, one of those a bunt, and one of them in this very inning. So he is the 10th Red Sox hitter here in the bottom of the 5th. Boston has scored 4 more times, and it's outside on Lugo.
Obi, there are a lot of people that look at like Todd Helton as a hero and what have you. Those are heroes right there that are standing right behind us, and Todd Helton would be the first to tell you that as well.
The 3-0 pitch from Spire, and finally a strike. This isn't the way Clint Hurdle was drawing it up last night when he was preparing for game 1 here at Fenway Park. But one thing we all knew, his team had not played in 8 days leading up to game 1. That is up high, ball 4. That'll force in a run. Mike Lowell will score. 11-1 Boston. This is going to be a very quick series if the Rockies continue to pitch like this, however. They have thrown 143 pitches in just 4 2/3 innings.
I'll be honest with you, I'm real interested to see what shows up tomorrow night for the Rockies as well. We know what the Red Sox, they've been good all year long. The Rockies got hot, and I mean, they were hot for so long, you had to say that they got good.
Here's Ellsbury as he takes up an away ball 1. Well, that was the question being bandied about on press row and down on the field tonight, all around the city of Boston and baseball circles around the country. Was this a fluky magic carpet ride, or was this a good team that put it all together late? Talking about Colorado, and wound up in the World Series because of it. And I think that question is still out there. The Rockies winning 21 out of 22, that's astonishing. But let's face it, they needed a lot of luck the final weekend of the regular season to just force that one-game playoff, which they won. They have been tremendous in the playoffs. They've run the table until tonight. That's way outside on Ellsbury.
You know, from one thing we've learned for both of these teams in the postseason, if they want to get on track, they might try scoring first. That being the Rockies.
It looks like the Red Sox are going to be 7-0 when scoring first. Colorado is 5-0 in the postseason when scoring first.
You start right there.
And no doubt about it, that's been the magic formula. And the Red Sox got that first run tonight on that home run by their leadoff man Dustin Pedroia in the bottom half of the first inning. He's getting ready to hit again. He's already been up 4 times tonight.
How about that? To get 5 at bats in the first 5 innings. That's got to be some kind of record.
Boy, all the Red Sox are getting at bats because of all the runs they're scoring. The check swing did not offer. And a count 3-2. So 2 down, bases loaded. 5 runs in this 5th inning for the Red Sox. This will be the 46th pitch offered up by Colorado in this inning. Inside for ball 4. That forces in another run. Back-to-back bases loaded walks issued by the Rockies. The Red Sox lead at 12-1.
How about this? The only guy tonight that doesn't have an RBI for the Red Sox is the guy who led them in RBIs during the regular season, Mike Lowell.
First team to score 10 or more in 3 straight postseason games. The Red Sox have gone 12, then 11, and now 12 and counting. Mike Lowell looks like he could care less. Here's Apodaca again. Six runs home in the 5th inning for Boston. We talk about the anatomy of the streak of winning 21 out of 22, and here's the reason why. The pitcher's team ERA has been spectacular. The bullpen ERA even better. No one's hitting with runners in scoring position. Of course, all of this changes tonight as the Red Sox have run roughshod over Colorado.
Yeah, no matter what they do the rest of this series, that earned run average is going to be way above that. But you look at that bullpen, and we talked about the goal, and maybe a key for the Rockies tonight was to get the game to the bullpen with the score either tied or them with the lead. They didn't come close to that tonight. On the other hand, Red Sox had to win with their guy Josh Beckett on the mound, and they're well on their way to doing that.
Well, still 2 men out, and the batter is again Dustin Pedroia, who bats for the 5th time in the 5th. Second time in this inning, 5th time in the game.
Yep. They had their workouts, they had their inter-squad games, they pulled the cages away and had umpires, but it's not the same.
2-0. Well, we were talking about how much longer you'd go with Josh Beckett tonight, but even though there's no bullpen activity, obviously Francona doesn't have anyone ready at this point. He plans on rolling Beckett back out there. It's a long, long wait for him. It's almost like waiting for a rain delay.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, if Pedroia gets on right now, I would get somebody up.
2-1 on him. Bases loaded again for Boston with 2 out. Seems like they've been 2 out for about an hour. That ball 3 makes it 3-1. Red Sox 12, Colorado 1. Already 22 base runners. High, and that will force in a 3rd consecutive run on a bases loaded walk. That could be a record. 13-1 Boston. Second RBI of the ball game for Pedroia. Here comes Hurdle again. He's going to make another pitching change. He's trying to find somebody who can get him one final out in this inning. The Red Sox have scored 7 in the 5th, and they have busted it wide open. Well, this one has become such a blowout. Stephen King grabs his Newsweek. He's going to find out how things are going for Barack Obama up in New Hampshire. The Red Sox leading at 13-1 as we revisit the top 4 in the order. And so it really has been strength at the top.
Well, it's been strength for them all year long. And, you know, Pedroia took over that spot. Youkilis dropped into the number 2 spot. And then that dynamic duo, boy. I mean, those are the same kind of numbers we saw in Game 1 of the ALCS when they took the lead in that series.
Base is still loaded for Boston. Stop me if you've heard that. Youkilis takes a strike. He becomes the 13th Red Sox hitter to bat in this inning. Matt Herges coming out of the bullpen. He's been awfully good in the postseason.
Yeah, but that's the 3rd time in this inning you've said that. And he's one of those guys that had any success.
The 0-1 pitch from the veteran right-hander is hit in the air to right field. On comes Hop. Time to get there, and finally it is over. The 5th inning anyway. The Red Sox lead it 13-1. And they're loving life at Fenway. Trying to get that field ready for the 6th inning. Come on back for that. Well, they're pretty much all in agreement. The DH role is a win-win for the National League. Beckett back out for the 6th inning and gets in front on Matsui, 0-1. First, in an American League Park, they get to substitute hitter for pitcher. Second, when in the National League Park, the pitchers are used for hitting and an American League pitcher is not. Down and in for ball. And our question today is, do you agree with this? In Colorado, who does Boston take out, Big Papi or Youkilis, and what effect will this have on the Red Sox? We've already knocked this around a little bit tonight. David Ortiz having success against the left-hander that he is going to face in Game 5, Rick. Well, how does that change things?
You know what even Terry Francona said before the game, he didn't know. But I'm just saying right now, and Kevin Youkilis is as hot as any man has ever been at this time of the year. He hit 500 in the ALCS. He's doing even better than that now. But for me, he's going to have to sit first 2 games.
Oh, bad hop, but he made a nice play on it. He feeds Beckett close, safe. Matsui beat the rap at first. Youkilis' ability to recover there on that shot into the hole that took an unfriendly hop almost got him a great play.
Really was a nice play, the way that ball came up. But there's not a whole lot anybody can do here. Beckett's hustling over. Here's the ball. It's kind of hitting that hole. And look at Matsui right off the bat. A direct route down that line. He's hustling, and you can just see him closing ground. There's the ball, and he easily beats it. Nice call there on the part of Laz Diaz. Good range coming up with that. Come on, Duke. It's 13-1. But you know what? That's how he plays the game. That's how every ball hit to him, every pitch thrown to him, every at bat. That's what he's all about.
That's a big reason why he's so popular in Boston.
Well, and you know what? I think it's important too. Dave Magnin was talking about part of the reason he was worn down. I mean, everybody else out there, nobody's breaking a sweat, not even the pitcher. And Yuka's in a full lather because of the intensity that he. It's got to be. What are you laughing at me for?
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone sweat on the field quite as much as Youkilis. As Holiday is 0 for 2. Hits that sharply. Nice stop by Pedroia to Lugo. That's one on the first double play. Pedroia digs it.
Well, I don't know who's playing first, but I know who'll be playing second. Golly. You can see now why at 5'9", maybe with long spikes on, as they say, This guy was drafted in the second round, and they feel like he was not only going to be a big leaguer, but be an impact type player at this level. That is terrifically caught. Take a look. Oh, wow. What a view, huh? And then look at everything unfolding Boston's way.
Helton foul tips that one to the mid. He has doubled and struck out. The Red Sox with 23 base runners, Colorado with 5. Josh Beckett has taken care of the pitching duties very, very well again for Boston. That one almost took Beckett with it into center field. Second hit tonight for Helton. He's really been one of the game's best hitters for a long, long time. Won a batting title. 8 times he's hit .320 or better.
OB just thinking about, being a manager and how you're always going to be second guessed and criticized. What if that ball would have hit Josh Beckett in the right arm? I mean, it's no fault of Francona. Beckett wanted to go back out there. It's just the 6th inning. But if that ball would have hit him, there would have been a lot of people upset.
Yeah. The phone lines at WEEI and WRKO here in Boston would have crashed at about midnight tonight. Fly ball right field, but J.D. Drew backs up. Now in on it. He's got it. Side retired.
That should be funny for Josh.
If it is, it's 6 innings and a 13-1 lead for the ace of the Boston Red Sox, who lead by 12 in game 1. Last of the 6th inning, 13-1 Boston. Josh Beckett started the night by striking out the side. There was a portent of things to come as he got Taveras, Matsui, and then Holiday in order. And the Red Sox were off and running. Dustin Pedroia, first batter for Boston, homers just over the Green Monster. Boston taking the 1-0 lead. Then the game really opened up. Veritek, after Colorado intentionally walked Lowell with the 2-run double in the 4th inning. The rout is on at that point as the Red Sox took a 6-1 lead, then added 7 in the 5th inning. 9 extra base hits by 7 different Red Sox hitters. Beckett has been extraordinary in this postseason, and Francis got beat up tonight. He gave up 10 hits in just 4 innings. Hergis remaining on to face David Ortiz. The big fella tonight, 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles.
How about a World Series record already tonight for the Boston Red Sox? 13 runs is it for them.
A strike. You talked about the shift earlier, and not much of one here. Matsui and Helton there on the right side. Usually the shortstop would be over to the right side of second base. Tulowitzki stays more up the middle and on his side of the bag. Fouled off by Ortiz. There's 2 doubles and a single.
I saw some footage of the series earlier in June, and the Rockies did this too during that series, and a lot of it probably came from their scouts that were following the ALCS, and all of the blind shots and ground balls Ortiz hit to the left side of second.
2-2. Hard to believe, Rick, that just 1 week ago today it was an off day in the American League Championship Series with Boston trailing Cleveland 3-1. Epitaphs were being written and spoken about the Red Sox all over the country. And yet here we are tonight, game 1 of the World Series, and they're pounding on Colorado, a team that seemingly could not lose. Inside, 3-2.
You know what amazes me more than anything about that was not only were they down 3-1, but the opposing starting pitchers they were up against. Sabathia, 19 wins. Carmona, 19 wins. And then you go out there tonight from the other league, a guy with 17.
Ortiz breaks his bat, pops it up in the left center. Holiday coming on to make the catch. And David Ortiz is 3 for 5, and he'll be looking for a new stick. 1 man out in the bottom of the 6th inning for Boston. Get a big hello from Dublin, Ireland. How about a little shout out to us? Our pints are raised to the Red Sox. Dublin Hurricanes Baseball Club all tuned in together at 2:30 in the morning, watching live from Ireland. Gentlemen, raise a pint for us as well. Wish we were with you.
You got any relatives over that way?
Just a couple. Took our tour of Ireland, the first anyway, a couple of years ago, and my kids are still talking about it. We had the time of our lives. And we did run into a few friends and family. Manny Ramirez with 2 singles and a double. He has scored 3 times. He has driven in a couple of runs. He's been right in the thick of this Red Sox attack of 16 hits and 13 runs.
Well, he's right in the middle of, or should I say at the top of, a lot of postseason numbers in the history of this game.
Manny, the all-time home run leader in postseason play. And he's had at least 1 RBI in each of his last 7 postseason games.
You know, you can't say that about Todd Helton in the postseason. This is his first time there, but during the regular season, there are a lot of things those 2 guys have in common with the offensive numbers that they put up over the last 10 years.
Base is empty. Fouled back. Got a great one here from Mike Wester, who writes today, Beantown's Green Monster is quite a sight, but the game's just as good watching from the shadow of a wall that's even more impressive, the Great Wall of China. The Sox and Rockies fans from around the U.S. and world watching the game at the Rickshaw Pub in downtown Beijing, home of the 2008 Olympics. They're drinking coffee on this cool Thursday morning and playing hooky from work. That has to be some sight. Thank you, Mike.
Now that's a wall.
That's a wall. It's a wall you can see from space. 1 and 2 on Ramirez.
You know, Matt Holliday said that you know, this is just another wall. That, well, maybe this one is. That one's not. But boy, there's a lot of history. And I'll tell you what, just in this game alone tonight, there's a lot of dents in that thing. I put some dents in that thing myself.
1-2 breaking ball hammered the other way, laced toward Hop. He's there. Out number 2 for Boston here in the 6th. First time Manny Ramirez has made an out tonight. Mike Lowell to dig in next. This email coming all the way from Wellington, New Zealand.
This is great.
This is from Matt, who says, hi there, I'm really enjoying your coverage. My question is, do the Rockies have enough hitting power to come back from what was then 3 runs down? And Matt, it's now 12. But it takes a little while to get to the other side of the world.
You don't even need the analyst to take that one.
Don't even worry. Rick, I'll take this one myself. No, not tonight.
Well, there's a happy guy, and he should be. This is basically his team. He put this thing together on the field, along with the veterans he's kept. Theo Epstein. And what he did, you know, after that 04 team, all of that success they had, I mean, that wasn't going to last. If you'd have brought Derek Lowe and all those guys back, Pedro, multi-year deals, you wouldn't have had this influx of young talent come along that they got with those draft picks. You think about Clay Buchholz. Right now, I mean, I love Pedro Martinez. He's one of my favorite pitchers all time to watch. But if you had your choice of Clay Buchholz or Pedro Martinez, you're going to take Clay.
Sure.
I mean, he's just at the beginning of what could be a brilliant career. He had a no-hitter in his second big league start.
I'll give you another one, Derek Lowe. Cutting Derek Lowe loose at the time the Red Sox did, that proved to be a very smart move at the time, given his World Series success, his playoff success. There was some clamoring to keep him here in Boston. Theo Epstein's made a lot of smart decisions. The proof is in the World Series. Second time in 4 years. That is up high, and another Red Sox walk, the second one accepted by Lowell tonight. Red Sox took 3 consecutive bases loaded walks in piling up those 7 runs in the 5th.
That was something that only, wow. thinking.
See, one cotton candy has to be the limit, I think. for all of us. Hey, this one coming all the way from Puerto Rico, and Hector writes, guys, keep up the awesome work. I'm supposed to be studying, but the game's more interesting than biology. I wanted to know who you guys think are going to be the National League and American League Rookies of the Year. And thanks a lot for answering my question. He says, go Rockies.
Wow.
I think Tulowitzki will win in the National League. Sensational year because defensively he plays at a Gold Glove level. Braun in Milwaukee had a tremendous offensive year, but he didn't even come up until late May outside on Veritek.
You know, just thinking about on the other side, American League, Pedroia, I thought it was awesome what Daisuke did for his guy, Pedroia. He said that should be the Rookie of the Year. Daisuke with, 200 innings, 200 strikeouts, 15 wins in his rookie year. He says, I'm not a rookie. And I agree with him. I mean, he's played professional baseball. He's made a lot of money. And he's played in a league at a level that we have gained a lot of respect for since the World Baseball Classic.
Daisuke also said, I've already won mine.
Yeah.
And he did. In
Great point.
1998 or 99, he won the Rookie of the Year in Japan. Veritek with a double, a single, and a walk. He has also scored a run and driven in a run. He backs away, and it's inside.
I just figured out what that kid was doing. He was trying to
impersonate the apple bond. That's right, the river dance. Yeah.
That's got to be it.
And now perfectly still. How does that happen?
That's great.
Fouled back by Veritek. Boston ahead 13-1 if you're just joining us.
Oh boy.
Papelbon celebrating the ALCS.
That's it. You know how to do that, don't you?
It's in the blood. Papelbon's not bad.
I tell you what, as funny as it is, or it looks like he could hurt himself. Terry Francona said he wanted to see it one more time.
Well, they win the World Series. He's going to get that wish. This guy's warming up again. Local television station is asking for video clips. Make your own Papelbon dance and send it in, and they'll play it on the air. Become very popular. So we have our own little taste of Ireland here at Fenway. Runner at first base, 2 down, the 3-2, waved at and missed, strike 3. This side is retired. So the Red Sox take a little break, but maybe somebody else should too. Mercy as it's turned into a laugher for the Boston Red Sox, 13-1, leading the Colorado Rockies. A couple of changes here. Ellsbury shifts from center over to left, and Coco Crisp takes over straight away. Beckett still out there on the mound, looking to go at least 7. With this giant lead behind him, Brad Hopp, the first man in, swings and misses. He has struck out twice tonight.
Oh, this is all about Josh Beckett insisting on going back out there for at least one more. If Terry Francona would have had his way, 6 would have been enough. We can find a way with a 12-run lead to get 9 outs.
Oh, 2 on Hopp. Beckett's night started by striking out the side. He has struck out 8 in this game. He has Hopp lined up for number 9. Hopp did strike out 137 times during the season. And the breaking ball is into the dirt. He'll be followed by Tulowitzki and then Torrealba. Well, the weather has cooperated over the last few innings. It was pretty sloppy. The initial stages of this game. Intermittent rain. Never hard enough at any point to suspend play. Now it's all but stopped, and there's strike 3. For the 3rd time tonight, Beckett gets Hopp. Tulowitzki in next. The Rockies in-game box, not a whole lot to scream and shout about, although Helton does have a couple of hits, a double and a single. But Tavares, Matsui, Holiday struck out in order to begin the night, and Beckett was in command from the get-go. Here's Tulowitzki.
You know, you think, well, it's just one game. There's a lot of baseball left in this series, but so many numbers have kind of bore themselves out in the postseason this year. And when you look at it, I mean, the winner of Game 1 in the World Series has gone on to win 9, OB, of the last 10. The last time that did not happen was when the Angels in 2002 lost Game 1 and were able to come back and win it, of course, in 7 against the Giants.
A similar kind of dominance for the team that has home field advantage. Smoke down the line. That's a fair ball. That'll scoot up into the stands. That was like a stone thrown on a pond. Up into the grandstand at Fenway, and it's a double for Tulowitzki, his second double tonight.
It's supposed to be an easier position down that left field line. Mike Everett finding out there's not a whole lot of room down there. If you're going to go back into foul territory, you got to realize that there's only about 5 feet in which to go. Look at him trying to get out of the way.
Well, another double. That's 12 doubles combined for the two teams. That's a World Series record, folks.
You know, to me, these records mean a lot. Those ones were, you know, in postseason play. Now that there are more postseason games, you know, it's kind of gotten a little confusing.
Torrealba here, he's 0 for 2. Got jammed. The runner trying to move up. Glove by Lugo on the run. Gets the out at first. And Troy Tulowitzki down to third, but with 2 away. Another email in from Paul Kelly, Cork, Ireland. Guys, what do you think of the trade for Eric Gagne? To me, it's the biggest bust of the year. Can you really trust him on the biggest stage of all? If the question is not up to scratch, maybe you'll just give Ireland's biggest Red Sox fan a shout out. Paul Kelly. Paul, actually a good question because it's one talked about a lot here in Boston the last 12 to 24 hours and why he was added to the postseason roster.
Well, you know, and OB, they tell me he's healthy, but man, he doesn't. It doesn't look that way.
He's had a dismal time of it here. Nobody knew it at the time that he would struggle as mightily as he has. Of course, he's been a closer. He's not going to be the closer in Boston. He understood that. He seemed to accept that role. But you know, mentally, how he handled it or didn't handle it as a setup man or as a 7th inning guy made all the difference. Up and in on Spilborghs.
There's been some good players that have had a tough time in, what do you want to call it, this atmosphere, market, what have you. J.D. Drew. I'm telling you right now, if they wouldn't have been in first place all year long, I don't know if he would have lasted this summer. Of course, Edgar Renteria didn't work out here, and then he's just a National League guy.
The 1-1 pitch grounded foul, and yet at this point, on the 24th of October, can you really say the Gagne move hurt the Red Sox? They have a 13-1 lead in the first game of the World Series. It has cost the Red Sox a couple of games, but they could wind up world champions nonetheless.
It doesn't matter how many games, as you well know, but you win during the season as long as you win the last one that's played during the season.
That's all they're trying to do outside on Spilborghs.
You know, I remember when I saw that trade, I thought, oh, wow, that's not fair. They had such a big lead, and now they're just getting better and stronger and deeper in that bullpen. Up till right now has not worked out.
Red Sox have a man throwing in the bullpen, so this will be the final inning for Beckett. Manny Del Carmen loosening. Tulowitzki at third, 2 down. Inside. You know Beckett knows very well this will be his last inning, and he wants to end it with a strikeout. which is how his night began.
It just makes it a little nicer walk as you head over towards that first base dugout. You know, there's a hand he's going to be shaking.
This would be number 10 if he gets it. The 3-2 pitch fouled away. The pitching line up to the moment. He walked a man for the second time in all of his postseason starts, all 4 of them. And that was the upset of the night, maybe. That's how good Josh Beckett's been. He has been brilliant. Again, fly ball to center field. Coco Crisp to put it away, and Beckett finishes up a 7-inning, 1-run, 9-strikeout start, going for his 4th straight win this postseason. And with every passing victory for Beckett, his legend in the playoffs continues to grow. He gets a standing ovation, and we're going to stay right here for Ashanti, the singer and actress, to sing God Bless America at Fenway Park on a night where the rain has just about completely stopped, except all those runs on a scoreboard the Red Sox have rained down. A 13-1. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Time for our in-game box. The Red Sox with hits up and down, left and right, every direction. They have just smoked Colorado tonight on the strength of 16 hits.
You know, a little different story when you face Boston in October as opposed to middle June. The Rockies knew that coming into play tonight. You go back to when Beckett picked up his first loss, and it was Jeff Francis that got the win. He shut down this very same lineup here. A lot of the same things in place there, but completely different story tonight. Everybody contributed.
Jeremy Affeldt coming out of the bullpen will become the 5th man to work and try and keep the Red Sox from hammering on the Green Monster some more. 9 doubles for Boston, 13 runs, 16 hits. As Sutton mentioned, a lot of dents up there.
Well, we've seen a lot of good ERAs and records in the postseason for the Rocky relievers, but it did not matter at all to Boston tonight.
I think that was double number 1. It left its mark. J.D. Drew has one. He's also added a single and is swinging a very good bat for Boston. Has really since the early days of September, and he's kept it going into October. And around New England, that was the thought. Well, if he's not going to have a good year, because that one's flying down the left field line, and Drew did not have a good year, at least finish strong and do something in the playoffs. And well, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, but if Josh Beckett wouldn't have brought it back here, I don't know that he would have even been a Red Sox next year. And obviously, I mean, that grand slam was huge.
That jam popped it up, drifting back to Tulowitzki, does the breaststroke and puts it away. That'll send up Julio Lugo, who has contributed with a couple of hits and a bases loaded walk.
You know, I can't help but think we can talk about all the things that have gone on. Their pitching's not been good. Francis was not himself. But when you look at the numbers that Beckett put up, they had won 21 out of 22. I mean, they were hitting 295 as a team during that period, scoring over 6 runs per game. Now, all right, don't forget that they've been off for 8 days. Did that have something to do with it? Well, I not near as much, because Josh Beckett's been doing it to everybody.
And the Red Sox just did this to the Cleveland Indians, too. Ground ball to the middle, that'll kick into center field. A 3-hit ball game for Julio Lugo. I think this is the thing that should probably worry the Rockies as much as anything. The bottom of the Boston order is starting to come up with multiple hit games. In Drew and Lugo, you've got Jacoby Ellsbury, who's certainly capable of a big night as well, and now everybody's hitting in that lineup. You know, Veritek's got 2 hits tonight. Manny Ramirez with 3. David Ortiz with 3. Youkilis with a pair of doubles. Pedroia with a home run to launch the ball game for Boston. 17 hits now for the Red Sox. And this is not just a one-night development.
It really was a change in philosophy for the Red Sox as opposed to what they did in 04 to what they've done particularly this year. They were a team this year that wanted to figure out a way to prevent runs from being scored. They wanted to tighten up the defense. They wanted to improve the pitching, the depth of the rotation, and also down there in the bullpen. But they kept enough offense in place to keep putting runs up on the board. And now the young guys are starting to come along. Youkilis hadn't been around that long. Pedroia's first year. You add Ellsbury to the mix now.
Kevin Youkilis coming off a scalding hot league championship series and at it again. Helton will shovel over to second base, and that retires Lugo. Ellsbury becomes the runner at first base, and now Pedroia will swing again. I thought there was a great shot moments ago by our director John Moore catching Youkilis inside the dugout. This is a guy who just had 14 hits in the LCS, 2 doubles tonight. He's maybe the hottest hitter on the field, and yet he's practicing his swing. He's still over and over and over again, just not satisfied. Always working at it. Fly ball center field. Tavares makes the one-handed catch. That's all for the Red Sox, and that's 7 innings in the books. 13 runs for the Red Sox on 17 hits, but Kevin Youkilis is looking for more. The Red Sox carry a 12-run lead in World Series Game 1 on to the 8th. Series Game 1, Boston thrashing Colorado. The Sox make a change here. One of 2, actually. Alex Cora is now in the game at shortstop, so that'll do it for Lugo, who finishes up with 3 hits. And Mike Timlin, the veteran right-hander, coming out of the bullpen.
He got it going again, particularly down the stretch for the Red Sox. His durability has just been amazing for them over the last several years. 3 games. Has not been scored upon as of yet in the postseason.
Josh Beckett went the first 7. He struck out 9. He allowed 1 run on 6 hits. And he is in line to go to 4-0 in this postseason 2007. And would also be in line for Game 5 at Coors Field if the series goes that long. Of course, Colorado has every intention of making sure it goes at least 5 games. Willie Tavares 0 for 3 tonight. This evening started by striking out looking at a Josh Beckett pitch.
I'll tell you another thing that Beckett will have a chance to do. Him and Francis became the 5th and 6th pitchers to win Game 1 of both the Division Series and the LCS in the same year. Only 2 guys, John Smoltz and David Wells, got the trifecta by winning that World Series opener as well. I was looking at Beckett's postseason numbers. It's like, how did he get 2 losses?
Yeah, right.
Well, he dominated. He just didn't get any run support.
And an ERA of what, 1.17 or something in the World Series in 03, and he went 1-1. But of course, he threw that gem, that complete game shutout to beat the Yankees in Game 6 and win the World Series for Florida. He was the MVP of that series.
Yeah, and that game he lost, that Game 3, the one against the Giants in 03, 7 innings, he gave up 2 hits and a run. And then, of course, in that 03 World Series game you're talking about, 7 1/3 of an inning, and he gave up 2 runs. I mean, his postseason ERA, well, coming into play tonight, was better than that of the great Bob Gibson.
Well, that's pretty remarkable. Red Sox fans will remember Bob Gibson not only doing it with his arm, but with his bat in the 1967 World Series.
Well,
in there for strike 3.
We're going to get a chance to see Beckett's bat in Game 5.
One man out, Kaz Matsui about to step in. And we're right back here at Fenway Park in Boston for Game 2 of the World Series tomorrow. The Rockies send out the rookie right-hander Ubaldo Jimenez, who has electric stuff, to face Curt Schilling for Boston. Game time is 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight GMT, right here at Major League Baseball International.
Well, there's nobody that has more electric stuff than what Fausto Carmona had. And you remember what happened to him in Game 2 here at Fenway, and then again in Game 6. I mean, the Red Sox they forced him to throw strike after strike after strike, and when he wasn't able to do that, they were able to get to him and get him out early.
Well, you know, you made the point that for the Red Sox, winning Game 1 was all important. Beckett had to continue to be Beckett. He certainly was. A pop-up, there's Cora in short center. 2 up and 2 down in the 8th inning for the Rockies. Now, as we look ahead to Game 2, the question before the Red Sox and Red Sox Nation becomes, which Curt Schilling are they going to get? Are they going to get the guy who went 4 2/3, his first start in the ALCS against the Indians, or the very comfortable-looking Curt Schilling who pitched 7 strong innings to lock up Game 6?
Well, it's all going to depend on his arm strength. And Obi, I honestly don't think we'll know that until the 2nd inning tomorrow night.
Holiday 0 for 3, takes ball 1.
And of course, if he takes the mound in the top of the 2nd tomorrow night with a 3-0 lead, as Josh Beckett did tonight, that will make things a lot easier.
Fouled back. Although it's fascinating to me how a pitcher can set the tone of a game just 3 batters in, the way Beckett did tonight. Bang, bang, bang. 3 strikeouts. Now you guys go get a run.
You know, and you really don't have to get all 3. If you get that last one, that is electrifying to a crowd, let alone doing it to this crowd.
Just a huge boost for Boston for Beckett to come out firing all his bullets like that. Cut on and missed, and it's 1-2.
Well, I will tell you another thing. The Colorado Rockies offensively will be a lot better tomorrow night, even if Beckett were to be on the mound, because they're seeing live pitching for the first time in a long time, and those swings will start to come back.
1-2, hammered foul by Holiday. Well, a rough night for Jeff Francis. Only in the game for 4 innings. He gave up 6 runs, 10 hits. He also walked 3, 1 intentionally, but his command not nearly as good as it was back in June here in Fenway when he beat Boston. The 1-2 low on Holiday. Bases empty, 2 down. We're in the top half of the 8th inning. "13 runs tonight for the Red Sox. That is a Game 1 World Series record." You look at the way Boston has scored the last 3 games, 36 runs. Is that comparable to the New England Patriots and their NFL record, 34 points in every game this year? At least 34 points.
No problem with offense back here, I guess.
No, not New England.
Yeah, but what the Red Sox doing to me is more impressive because they're doing it in the postseason. You know, this would be like New England doing that in their drive to the Super Bowl. Tell you what, after watching them play, I'm not saying they won't do that.
Right, yeah. Tom Brady with 6 touchdown passes last weekend.
Well, Tom Brady, I don't think there's any doubt. He's to the Patriots what Josh Beckett is to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, pretty fair comparison, I think. He got jammed and strikes out. Timlin very sharp, strikes out Tavares and Holiday and gets the Rockies 1-2-3. Everything working for Boston tonight. They lead it 13-1.
And all of the great years, including 1967. But I think about how many years he was able to play at that level.
Well, Yaz getting into a couple World Series but never won it. Kevin Youkilis grounds that one foul. And in 1975, they called it the series that may have saved baseball. Interest in attendance was down around the league, and Yaz and the Red Sox took on Joe Morgan and the Big Red Machine. Joe is here tonight broadcasting on ESPN Radio. Hall of Fame second baseman, fouled away by Youkilis. And that series, of course, remembered by most because of the home run in Game 6 that Carlton Fisk hit down the left field line in the wee hours of the morning. But actually, we went to Game 7 and Joe Morgan won that with a single off of Jim Burton. That was the huge hit. Youkilis with a couple of doubles tonight. He has scored 3 runs, so the beat goes on for the Red Sox first baseman. He swings and misses, and down he goes for strike 3. 1 out in the Red Sox 8th.
Just listening to you talk about those Hall of Famers and knowing that was 40 years ago. Just thinking about this World Series right here. Hall of Famer, there's no question in my book that man will be. Everything that he's done, a career average over 330, all of the years he's done it for, the Gold Gloves, the type of person he is, and then, you know, now getting to the World Series. We're talking about him and Ernie Banks and all of that.
Yeah, Helton's a guy that baseball fans really root for. Check swing fouled back by Eric Hinsky, who gets in a pinch hit roll. A closer look at Todd Helton, finally into a World Series, finally into the playoffs for the first time in his career. 11 seasons. When you talk about hits and home runs, he is well short in a lot of categories when it comes to Hall of Fame right now. But if he plays another 9 years or so and continues to post those numbers, he's certainly moving in that direction. Red Sox up here 13-1. It's his first series cap.
Going back to Peyton Manning and him, and obviously they're great buddies. Peyton was taking BP, right? Another strikeout there. And he wasn't very good. I mean, he it was like he was swinging a wet newspaper or something. The ball just wasn't going anywhere. And Todd was getting all over him. And, you know, they were talking about, hey, you picked the right sport. And Peyton came out, and only like he can. I mean, you don't want to get in a verbal war with Peyton Manning. You're going to lose. And Peyton said, you think that's funny? I got some video of you playing quarterback. I'll show these boys. Oh, they were having a ball.
Helton got into 4 games. I believe he started 4 games at UT. And then gave way to that kid Peyton Manning, who was coming up through the ranks. Crisp, his first at bat, rolls to Tulowitzki. 1, 2, 3 they go, and a sharp inning by LaTroy Hawkins coming out of the bullpen for Colorado. But the score is 13-1 as we go to the 9th inning. The Rockies just want to put this one to bed at Fenway. The Red Sox about to go up 1-0 in the 2007 World Series. Major League Baseball International special presentation of the 2007 World Series has been brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Dave O'Brien, Rick Sutcliffe with you, about to finish this one up. The Red Sox go to the 9th inning with a 13-1 lead. And Eric Gagne will come out of the bullpen with an ERA of 8.10 in 4 postseason appearances. Well, Red Sox manager Terry Francona will at least be able to say at the end of the World Series, yeah, we put him on the roster, and he did pitch.
Closed out Game 1. What were the odds on that coming into play tonight?
Well, Todd Helton will lead things off against him. Beckett to pick up the win. He went 7 outstanding innings, 9 strikeouts, 6 hits, 1 run, walked 1. So his beat goes on. Hey, we want to send out greetings to Scott Noe, surface operations, and all his crew members on the USS Kitty Hawk, floating around the Pacific right now. Thank you so much for all that you do. Helton pops it up. Cora out, Ellsbury in. Ellsbury, the left fielder, makes the grab. 1 man gone in the 9th. Well, this started to get away from Colorado early. The Red Sox scoring 3 times in the bottom of the first inning. Dustin Pedroia set the offensive tone by cranking a home run, first batter in against Jeff Francis. Youkilis ripped a double. After an out, Ramirez singled in a run. Later, Veritek would single. Drew would double in another run. And the Red Sox were off and running.
And none of that to say about what the Rockies were able to do offensively because of the dominance of Josh Beckett. And OB, when we talk about a true #1 guy, which Josh Beckett is, and I think Francis is as well, he just didn't have a good night tonight. But guys like that, Papelbon, that's how they stay strong all year long. They're not needed. Not only was he not needed, but Okajima, Papelbon, neither one of them got up tonight. They played catch like at 5:30 earlier today, and that's it. I mean, that right arm to Papelbon, that's like a savings account. You can only make so many withdrawals. You got to make a few deposits. And when you got an ace like Beckett, Okajima, I mean, this is great. Look at that. No stress, no tension. And what happens tomorrow night after the #1 guy throws? I mean, they're both ready to go 2 innings if you need it.
Okajima also has his lucky parrot back. There's a stuffed parrot the Red Sox had in the bullpen all season long, and someone walked off with it after Game 7. Atkins with a high fly ball, but there's so much room out there. Coco Crisp will not run into any walls tonight. That is out number 2. It somehow wound up in the refrigerator of a dormitory over at Northeastern University. And when a couple of students woke up the following morning and they had been partying a little bit, celebrating the win, they looked in the fridge and there it was. And on the local news, the story was, well, the Red Sox need this back. Mike Timlin made an emotional plea. He said, Okajima needs it. We all need it. And it was returned promptly to Fenway Park the next day. No questions asked.
I gotta look at the parrot tomorrow. I heard about it, but I thought they were pulling my leg, which
no, it's very real. Pop foul back into the stands by Hop, who has had a tough night, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. But you can say the same thing about the entire Colorado organization, who came flying into Fenway Park, having won 21 of 22, had not lost a ball game in 38 days. And yet tonight, the Red Sox established right away they are going to be awfully tough to beat. And they have clubbed the Rockies tonight 13-1. The 1 pitch waved at and missed by Hop, who's done plenty of that tonight. If he strikes out here, it'll be for the 4th time. Gagne trying to finish it up. We certainly want to thank everyone for sending in your emails throughout the broadcast, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. Keep those coming. We love reading them, but we'll do our best to read them all. The 0-2. A little bit high from Gagne.
Well, the emails have really been the highlight to me of our telecast tonight, man. There's not been a whole lot of baseball strategy of any kind to talk about. It was over early here in Game 1. It's going to get better, though.
2 down, bases empty in the 9th, and the 1-2 from Eric Gagne. Grounded foul. Well, the weather kind of cooperated. That's good news.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a big help that we never got a deluge. The skies never opened up big time.
A what?
A deluge. A flood.
Okay.
A biblical rainfall. I think we're all right. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Blew him away, and the ball game is over. The Boston Red Sox win this one going away 13-1 and lead the 2007 World Series 1-0. Pedroia got it started. Beckett and company did the rest on the mound. It's 12 strikeouts, by the way, by the Boston staff. So in every way you can dominate a baseball game, the Red Sox did over Colorado tonight.
Well, it started right off the bat. I mean, with Beckett truly setting the tone in the top of that first inning. Opie, you mentioned he came out, not only struck out the first 3 of the game, but he got the first guy in the top of the second, that being Todd Helton. 3 in the first, 2 in the second. He came back with 2 more strikeouts in the fourth, and he basically just cruised from that point on, because after he took the mound in the top of the 6th, it was 13-0.
Beckett took the mound at the top of the ninth. He struck out the side and then turned it over to the offense to get rolling. And Dustin Pedroia certainly did that by cracking the home run, the Pepsi play of the game.
Well, he only hit 8 home runs during the regular season, but he homered and had 5 RBIs in the deciding Game 7 of the ALCS. He picked right up where he left off with a home run here. And I tell you what, Josh Beckett did not need a whole lot more than that. That is our Pepsi play of the game.
So Game 2 coming away from Fenway Park. The weather expected to be better tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, midnight GMT. Jimenez against Schilling. Kurt Schilling 10-2, his postseason career record. The Red Sox trying to make it 2-0. And then the series would shift to Denver and Coors Field for Games 3, 4, and 5 if all are necessary. Again, the final tonight, and this one really was over by the 5th inning. The Red Sox 13 and Colorado 1. Josh Beckett is the winner. Now 4-0 in this postseason. Francis takes the loss. 9 extra base hits by 7 different Red Sox players and a ton of doubles. The most one-sided Game 1 in the history of the World Series. Everybody brought the cameras tonight. Some funny headgear too. They certainly got creative. It started with the skies pretty wet, but everyone in a very festive mood for the start of the 2007 World Series. The 103rd version got underway with a strike and then a strikeout. And then Beckett made it 3 consecutive Ks to open up the first inning.
Well, the one thing about these two teams, you know that all year long they played terrific baseball at home. They played their best baseball there. I think it's going to be important in this series for both of these teams to defend their turf. You can see right now Beckett got them off to a great start along with the offense in Game 1. Kurt Schilling on the mound tomorrow night will have to do more of the same.
It was a hit parade for the Red Sox, keeping that rolling from the League Championship Series. 13 runs on 17 hits. In the previous 102 Game 1s, no team had ever scored 13, and boy, was everyone excited. We're back tomorrow night. Good night from Boston.